another week or will we not?
Get it while it's hot.
coming at you like monsters in the night, and you feel the danger that makes you wanna hide. When the cards are stacked against you and you're standing on the edge, now's the time, now's the time. Think about all the dreams you keep inside. Think about all the ones you love. I know this beating heart will be my guide. I know that we can overcome. When the world's so cold and we're losing hope, I need her, I need her. When the darkness comes and we're overrun, yeah, I need her. That's when we need each other. 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 When you're falling faster and don't know where you are, you feel the danger closer than your heart. When the weight is getting heavy and the future is unsteady, close your eyes, close your eyes. Think about all the dreams you keep inside. Think about all the ones you love. I know this beating heart will be my guide. I know that we can overcome. When the world's so cold and we're losing hope, I need her, I need her. When the darkness comes and we're overrun, yeah, I need her. That's when we need each other. That's when we need each other.
to get a fast track, but you can't just piggyback. You're braver than you know it. You're stronger than you show it. You're braver than you know it. You're stronger. Before it's good, it's gotta get worse, and sometimes it's gonna hurt. If you're ever gonna get that bad, then you better plan your attack. You're braver than you know it. You're stronger than you show it. You're braver than you know
Hello and welcome to the Rocket League Rivals Series. Welcome again. It is week number 5 and the Rivals are taking the field. My name is Tom Battinger. I'll be your host, and welcome to my home. And welcome my other two compadres here. We've got Subi, and we've got Spaceman. How you guys doing?
I am doing so good today. I've got to admit something to you, F. Dot. I'm very sorry. I stayed up really late last night playing Rocket League. It's the most fun I've had in a long time. I mean, I'm sorry I did it to you, though. So I've got my coffee to get me through the show today and the perfect mug to really match the day as well.
What a save! What a save! And what a spaceman we have ourselves here. How you doing there, Mop Top?
Doing good, man. My hair's all over the place today. I don't know what's going on. I think it's the change of humidity here in the East Coast, but I'm doing good, man. It's gonna be a good week.
I can't wait to take the picture of you week number 2 with the pompadour Fallout haircut, and then you week number 4 and 5 of you just like
the stress of the world is getting to my hair.
That's been the look for some of our teams in the rival series. Let's say hello to the European scene and see what teams we're looking at here today, because we've got a slew of them. RCD Espanyol still undefeated. That's been really kind of the story here. A lot of eyes on Notorious Legion as they do very well both in the rival series and some external tournaments as well. Baguette squad, though, struggling to find their footing. A little bit tough here. Subi, any team in particular that you've really taken for a ride or enjoyed watching?
I mean, it's got to be RCD Espanyol for everyone, right? I mean, an undefeated team. They are just coming out performing every week. But RJM has surprised me this season. I haven't been expecting the season we've seen from Rizek so far. So I'm impressed with him. I'm excited to see him the rest of the season as well.
How about you, Spaceman? What are you looking at as far as our European season?
I'm really surprised that Girlz is sitting at 2-2. I know we had a really exciting start to the season, and Subi and I were expecting them to go undefeated. But honestly, I have to say BDS. I mean, especially from last week, they score at will. They're sitting at 4-1, right under RCD. I'm excited to see those two teams play. I think that could be a contest for who comes out on top.
Team BDS has been a big surprise, I think, to some people and kind of a I told you so to others. They're not playing on the mainstream this week, but keep an eye on them. Those guys have absolutely been a lot of fun to watch. So moving into everything else here, guys, I mean, it's been a lot of fun. Week number 5. Subi, how do you feel the league has kind of solidified down so far?
It's definitely been rocky and shaky for me. A lot of expectations that I had haven't really fallen into place yet. You know, we brought up Girlz, not expecting them to be at 7th place right now. I was expecting to see them in 1st place, maybe 2nd at the lowest. So as I told you guys at the beginning of the season, week 1, like, expect the unexpected. And this season has delivered exactly that.
Well, let's take a look at what our players are fighting for. Obviously, it's all about the trip up to the Rocket League Championship Series. That RLCS is the carrot on the stick. So if you're number 1 in the league, you will automatically go up there. And number 10 comes down here to play with the rivals. Number 2 and 3, they don't get an auto ticket, but they certainly have a way in. They've got to fight against the 8th and 9th place teams from the RLCS. And should they win, then they take over and become RLCS teams themselves. There's a number of dollars on the line as well. Number 1 is going to take home $13,000, and we'll see 10, 9, and 8 for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, all the way down to 10th place. Everybody taking home some money. So that's always what we like to see here at the Rocket League Rivals Series. A little bit more of an injection this year, actually, from last season. So watching all of the teams kind of jockey for position, RCD Espanyol up on top. We're actually going to see them a little bit later today. They'll be playing against Notorious Legion. I know some of the commentators are excited for that one. Spaceman, talk to me a little bit about that matchup.
Well, the biggest thing with Notorious Legion, especially we saw, Subi and I saw them last week, and they came out with a win over Weedham Girls, which was a big upset. I don't think any of us expected that. And all of a sudden, this team that brought themselves back from the brink, a team that had got smoked by BDS, we expected that, but now they come into week 5 and they look like they fixed the majority of the issues that we've been harping on them about, and they've done it quicker than other teams. Like they've completely rewritten the script, and all of a sudden we're looking at Notorious Legion and we're thinking, okay, spots 3, 4, and 5 all of a sudden sit open. This team could make a run. This is their week to pull away from the pack. And I'm really wondering, how is the top 3 or 4 going to shake out? Notorious Legion look like one of the best teams we've had in the past couple of weeks. It's going to be fun.
It's going to be really exciting there, Spaceman. That, of course, is our third matchup today. Let's take a look at the schedule. Number 1 will be Triple Trouble versus RJM. And then as the day gets scheduled or situated, we'll see Baguette Squad try and get a win. Both them and Weedham Girls have kind of struggled here. So that should be an uplifting one. There's RCD Espanyol versus NLE that we heard so much about. And Servette Geneva Esports will take on Team Vertex, a battle of the bottom. So fun-filled day here. I think the first 2 matches, like we're going to miss the RCD Espanyol and Notorious Legion Esport one that you guys were talking about, but Triple Trouble RJM, Baguette Squad, Weedham Girls, kind of interesting ones as well. So Triple Trouble here, RJM. These teams, I think, look better on paper. I think a lot of people kind of expected these teams to perform well. Tadpole, Rix Ronde, and Bluey repping Triple Trouble, and RJM is Rizex, Justice, and Mike Boy. Subi, you know a lot of these guys. I mean, a lot of these players have been playing around in the league for a while. Talk to me a little bit about what we're going to see today in match number 1.
Well, I think we're going to see a really even match today. We've got the 5th and 6th teams going up against one another head-to-head. The interesting part of it, though, is RJM, they've got 2 rookies on the squad, with Rizex kind of carrying the weight and pulling them along this season. He was with Team Vertex last season, so he does have that experience. But when you're talking experience, that's Triple Trouble. That's what they have in their corner. They have Bluey, they have Tadpole, they have Rix Ronde. All these guys have been around forever almost. I mean, since season 4, pretty much all these players have been around. Season 5 is when Tadpole and Rix came into the rival series. This is going to be a good matchup, but you got to wonder, is this the end of the line for Triple Trouble? They're sitting at 2-2. So this is a match that they absolutely have to win. If they drop this one, their season is going to be shaky, and going into that promotion playoff is going to be, I mean, you're going to be counting your lucky stars, and it's a godsend if you get there.
I'm here for this. I love the storyline. I'm going to let you keep going then. Let's move into predictions mode real quick as we downshift. And you seem kind of down on Triple Trouble. Is this the moment that they kind of stand up and ascend to where they're supposed to be? Or is this the beginning of the end for them?
Look, I do sound down on them, but that's only because I have high expectations. So I feel like a parent right now where I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. Just disappointed in the performance that they brought out so far. They're sitting at 2-2 when I feel like they could really be at least 3-1, if not 4-0. You know, they lost week 3 to Solari, and then came out and beat Servette. But the biggest thing with this team is they just won, or just, progress further in the EU Invitational that Johnny Boy's putting on. They beat Reciprocity 3-1. That is huge. This team's on the upswing. I have Triple Trouble. They have to get this match, though.
Triple Trouble, hoping to grab a flame sword here. Spaceman, on the other side, are you with RJM, or are you going to double down and go Subi's direction?
I am with Triple Trouble. Like he said, they beat Reciprocity. They also beat Mouse in that tournament. So they have some potential, and I think we are all surprised at their current standings. They kind of remind me a lot of Charlotte Phoenix, how there's so much talent, but they kind of sit right in the precipice of being in the first, second, or third place. I'm still taking them. RGM, of course, have the better record, but 3-0 win over Servette last week on B Stream, or 2 weeks ago, I should say, for Triple Trouble. They're sitting at 2-2. This is a do or die week for them. I expect them to show up. Rix Ronde is that man. I'm taking Triple Trouble.
I respect it. I respect the triple trouble picks because Rick Zarande has become one of my favorite players to watch here in the rival
He's
series.
great.
And I think the young guy kind of has the ability to do it, but I'm looking at just recency stuff here. It's been a little while since Triple Trouble got that win, 2 weeks since they got that win. It was 3-0, but we look at RJM. This team has been trending upwards each week in the rival series. They've improved, and last time they brought RCD Espanyol, the undefeated team, to a 3-2, which I think is impressive. We all like to say, it doesn't matter how much you win by, a win is a win. I don't agree when it comes to analytics. When you take the top team undefeated to a game 5, that means something to me. And so I'm putting my chips on RJM. I'll be the odd one out here. I think that this might be an interesting matchup. And I think RJM might just take it. So I'm actually really excited for this one coming up. Subi, looking into this one, we heard kind of like we set the table here storyline-wise. What are you expecting? Do we expect high offense, high defense, or something in between?
I think it's going to be a lot of high offense. I mean, you brought up RJM bringing RCD Espanyol to game 5. That's huge, but they're also in a 3-way tie for shots per game with not only RCD Espanyol, but Team BDS. So a lot of shots coming out from RJM, but who's right behind them? Triple Trouble. So this is just going to be a shootout left and right. You could pretty much just throw defense to the back seat and hope your offense can carry you to victory.
I'm here, man. All killer, no filler. Match number 1 coming your way, guys. It's Triple Trouble RJM. We've got Subi and Spaceman on the call. I'll catch you later.
Subi, I think this is an interesting match this week. We kind of had a mirror of it last week when we looked at 2 of our lineups where we had BDS and Baguette. Of course, Notorious Legion did bring BDS to a 3-1 loss, but still, we had a bit of a discussion about teams pushing some of the best talent and players to the limit. And once that happens, does that build, whether it's character or personality, does that build future success for the following weeks? I think we're looking at RJM and we're seeing that, yes, they pushed RCD to a game 5 last week in game 4, in week 4, but the problem that I see is just that Triple Trouble is so well-rounded as a team. Yes, they sit at 2-2, and yes, they still have a win to catch up to RJM. But I feel like it's going to be really difficult compared to weeks prior where it was maybe just 1 or 2 team plays that spread apart.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, team plays is going to be the name of the game in this series. I don't think you're going to see a lot of 1v1 stuff on display. There's definitely the possibility coming out from RJM. Rizix is a fantastic player, and obviously, when you're sitting there looking at Triple Trouble, the number 1 name that stands out is Bluey, with all that RLCS experience, all that mechanical ability sitting behind him. But I think the difference maker in this match has to be the team plays coming out.
Well, off the start, it's going to be sent into the corner, shot on down, but it's knocked away, no problem, as it's followed through. And again, we see a situation where RJM come out of the gates hot, and they are trying to capitalize early, but back into the corner we go. And coming into these weeks, you brought up an interesting stat, Subi, as that bump actually might get them a goal. It will, as Rizek scores first, and a good bump, and the corner of the net punches it through.
And Mike Boy credited with the pull shot here, but Rizek gets a cheeky touch, and it's just chaos in the orange half there. They couldn't get the clear. And RJM come out on top, 1-0 in favor of them, but we're still very early into game 1 here.
Now, we predicted that this might be a very long series, and what we mean is possibly not a game 5, but shot-wise, yeah, we could be going the distance, and we could be looking at 5-4, 6-5, those types of games. If that's the case, you have to find a way to capitalize on small mistakes, if there are any. That should be an easy takeaway as Tadpole brings it to the corner, no problem, and back to midfield for Mike Boy to handle. And he reels it in, and off the back wall sent the other way as Rich Ron is going to follow in pursuit, and he'll grab it on the wall. But again, we're looking at just a 1-0 scoreline as RJM were able to strike first. A very unfortunate goal. Wasn't able to get his car right in front, and sometimes it's just about a bad angle that sets up a good goal.
Yeah, and it just hits the post rather, and just rolls to the right. Unfortunate situation there for Tadpole, but you got to come back from this one. You got to get a goal quickly to try and counter, but these clears, they just keep booming them down to RJM, and they're handling them perfectly. putting shots left and right. You see another one,
man.
double commit in the box, and Justice puts the third one in for RJM.
Off the start, Subi, it just kind of looks like Triple Trouble can't get out of their own corner. Like, there have been 3 or 4 shots that they have just not been able to handle, and 3 goals in 2 minutes is very, very dangerous. Here comes another open net opportunity. Rix Ronde will take it away. Another shot, no problem. Blue with the save. And back to midfield before Mike Boyd cuts it off. So for Triple Trouble off the start, Subi, they haven't really done much because oh no. Oh no. Well, that's another goal and Justice puts it home.
Baby, when it rains, it pours, and this has just turned into an avalanche. RJM can do no wrong in this matchup, and I believe, yes, it is a hat trick for Justice here, and we haven't even hit halftime yet.
So, Subi, the question I was going to ask you before that goal comes through, we could be seeing another one. Saved by Tadpole, questionable defense. Is this a defensive issue? I mean, probably yes, but what are you seeing from Triple Trouble? Like, what in the world is going on?
Well, I talked about it a few minutes ago about the fact that Triple Trouble is just going for those long booming clears, and it's so easy for RJM to read the field and push up slowly, and there it is. Defense once again breaking down. Justice gets his 4th one in this game, his 16th of the season.
I think it's pretty safe to say that game 1 might be too far out of reach at this point. I think we've seen 1 hit into RJM's half and no shots. So not a great start, still a whole series to play.
Oh, baby!
But, oh my God.
Just focus your glasses on Rizhex right here. You see Bluey sitting in the box. Well, there he goes up off the crossbar. And 5 goals for Justice out of 6 shots. This boy is on fire.
Is the record in RLCS, is it about 6 goals for an individual player?
That is a Stacks question that I know he's just chomping at the bit, fan.
I know.
Oh, I know. So we're gonna wait, and I'm gonna just throw this one into the wind and wait for Stacks to reply, because I know he's gonna write back and let me know what that single game record is for goals. But yeah, we're getting close to it for sure.
Well, here comes what seems like the first shot in a couple of years, finally, for Triple Trouble. And they did have a week off. They did not play last week. And the last time they played was on B-Stream on a Saturday. So they've had some time. Could this be effective?
They played in that EU Invitational. And I think that even though that, oh my gosh, a double hat trick coming out from Justice, you have got to be kidding me. He can do no wrong.
Is that 6 goals in one? That's incredible. I think that might tie the record.
Have playmakers. Rizhex and Mike Boyd both have playmakers. Everybody getting involved for RJM. It is a complete shootout in favor of RJM.
I think this might be it might tie the record. I believe Stack said at 1.6 was the record, and I'm hoping that he is in my DM somewhere screaming at me if I am incorrect. But if not the case, I think we can make a clear argument that Justice has single-handedly won them game 1. As this one is over, there's no way I see Triple Trouble being able to bounce back in game 1. But it's a long series, man.
With that attitude.
You gotta hope. You gotta. Well, listen. You gotta hope that Justice burns all of his gas in game 1.
I mean, yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah, is he going to be able to come out game 2, 3, 4, 5 if it goes that long and do anything? I'm going to say yes. I don't believe in, a player only has a certain amount of goals for a series. I think this is only hurting Triple Trouble right now. You can't let him get this comfortable in a matchup. Good flick there from Bluey, good car control, but the defense is perfect right now for RJM. Good shot from Bluey, but Rix Ronde sitting at midfield, no one there. I get that they don't really need to play too aggressive. There's no chance in climbing back, but hey, try and get a goal. No one likes being shut out.
I feel like it's pretty easy to have good defense when you don't even have to worry about being in your own half the majority of the game. And just like that, wow, that was a very, very quick game 1. Yeah, GG's in the chat all around. Wow, 7-0. RJM, 6 goals for Justice on 8 shots, 2 saves. And to their credit, Triple Trouble had 4 shots, but didn't even feel like it. I mean, it was not close by any stretch, but I think the best case scenario for Triple Trouble moving into game 2 and the rest of this series is honestly, Subi, that game 1 was such a blowout and it went by so fast that you didn't lose in late game, you didn't lose in overtime. It was just you got outplayed. Moving to game 2, fresh slate, no worries.
Well, and we just got to witness history. Thank you so much, Justice, for that. That was phenomenal. The first ever double hat trick in the rival series. I mean, you're not going to win when a player's shooting like that, but it boils down to mistakes coming out from the side for Triple Trouble. There was no defense. There was no midfield presence whatsoever, offensively or defensively. And
honestly, like, I hate to cut you off, but I honestly think that that is less of that's less of Triple Trouble and more of just RJM. Like, they didn't allow Triple Trouble to find rhythm at all. Like, they were consistently putting shots on net. So when you can't find a way to just kind of slow the game down, what are you gonna do? Like, that was just RJM completely destroyed them.
Absolutely. And when Triple Trouble did have an opportunity where midfield was open a little bit, you could probably catch that ball in your defensive half, carry it forward. Yeah. They just kept booming the ball back down into RJM's half. It just wasn't working. They need to figure something out, because right now Tom is looking like a Rocket League guru with his pick, and we're looking silly. But I thought with the way that Triple Trouble played against Reciprocity, an RLCS team, a team and with Mouse, a ton of veterans, and Mouse as well the week prior, like, I just didn't expect them to come out this slow and sluggish, even though they did have a bye week last week. I just expected this team to, I guess, come out a little hotter.
Yeah, I mean, they beat Reciprocity, which is just, I mean, it's incredible, number one, but number two, I don't think many people expected that. And now you come back to, I mean, maybe it's a different atmosphere up there, and you come back down to Rivals, and we talk about how things can kind of float in Rivals that don't float in RLCS. And sometimes players play above their normal strength because they have to meet competition. This could be a situation where they just come out flat-footed in game 1. Of course, it's a long series, man. I mean, we still got potentially 4 more games to go, but I'm just shocked at how quickly RJM took control.
Potentially 4 more games, but if it's even remotely like game 1, I mean, 20% like game 1, yeah, this is going to be an easy 3-0 sweep for RJM. And I believe this is my second time commentating RJM this season, and the first time I picked against them, and I didn't learn my lesson. I should have learned from that first time that you don't go against Rizex and Justice and Mike Boy. These guys are just something special this season.
I know in week 1 when we had them, they were we picked them and they came out on top, and we were incredibly impressed. And then they lost, I believe, 2 in a row. So we were like, okay, this team has some work to do. What's going on? We're seeing a complete opposite of the powerhouse scoring from Rizex and Mike Boy that we expected. And all of a sudden, man, they're sitting at 3-2, middle of the pack, but close to the top, and 7-0 win game 1. Now again, we see 3 players in the box, stacking for Triple Trouble. It looks like one was able to escape to the side to grab boost. And that's an open net for Rix Ronde. He's able to knock it up. But here comes Justice over the top before Rizex tries again, and back to midfield.
And just double commits coming out right now from Triple Trouble, really throwing the defense off. I need to get their comms up and alive, because they're a better defensive team than this. And good clear there, lucky 50-50. Rix Ronde's up, good pinch into the corner, but Mike Boy willing and waiting to take that ball. But you see Rix was rotating out, decided to break that rotation, keep control of the ball, and maintain pressure. But here comes RJM down the field. Mike Boy with the flick over one, Rix Ronde with the diving save, and RJM turned away. No score in the first minute and a half, but so far 0 shots still for Triple Trouble.
Now, Subi, I could be wrong, and Lord knows that's not an uncommon thing for me, but just watching, usually we talk about in sports the eyeball test, what do your eyes tell you, and it's a good indicator. And right here, looking at Triple Trouble, just looking at the way they're playing, they look very hesitant. I don't know if it's just me or the way that they're playing defense, but they look like they're unsure of themselves on the field. And this is a team that's known for ISO capabilities. Like, they individually will make plays happen and set up for teammates. What is happening here? The dunk from Vertex, like, the defense from Triple Trouble just looks kind of questionable.
You hit the nail on the head, I believe, that they're just coming out and being a little too hesitant. You see the defense, that's a hard stop to make on the goal line. I expect Vertex to punch that through every time, but defense starts at midfield, and there was nothing there. It was so easy for Justice to come off the ceiling there.
Oh
and
my
a
God.
pinch out of nowhere. Holy smokes. Where'd this power come from?
He's now up to 7 goals. 68 on the clock. 7 goals in 2 games. Of course, one was an outlier, but still, if we had a chart, I'm sure it'd be off it at this point. Challenge won by Triple Trouble, taken away by RJM. Now 2-0. Still plenty of time, but all of a sudden we're looking at another situation where the game might run away from him. Tadpole trying to make a play happen. Rix Ronde over the top, who was a crucial X factor in weeks prior, has been quiet to start this series. A great redirect from Tadpole, and the demo on top of it, cherry on the cake, as they get their first goal.
Well, this is what a team has to do. They have to capitalize on mistakes. You saw 2 players there fly for that ball. A simple double commit, but leaves the net wide open. And Triple Trouble get their first goal of the series. And more importantly, the first shot of this game as we notch closer and closer to halftime.
Subi, if you're in comms right now and you're talking to your team with 2:25 left, are you thinking about spreading the floor, or are you more worried about creating opportunities? What are you saying to your guys?
Right now I'm saying don't panic. Still plenty of time. 2 minutes is an eternity to work with in Rocket League, but I think the number one thing that they need to talk about is talking. They need to call out what they're doing. They need to call out if they're going for a clear, a touch, and they can call out each other's positions as well. Hey, I see you up left, I'm passing the ball. Right now, the major issue, I think, is just communication.
And that can be the death for most pro teams, including, as well as the normal rival series. But still, 1 goal game. That's going to go into the corner. It's going to be won by Justice. You see it back in midfield, Rix Ronde. He cuts it off. He's able to carry over 1. Justice has to challenge, and a good challenge pokes it out into the corner, and it's won again by Triple Trouble. But still, they stall for now. And back the other way is a good clear. And it will force Rix Ronde to have to play good defense. He does, but oh, that could have been a bad center, as Vertex is able to slow it down and take it away. And RJM doing a good job of intercepting some of these clears and forcing Rix Ronde and team to fall back and play off their own half, as that's going to be let out and open, no problem for Tadpole.
They're doing a great job right now of cutting passing lanes, reading plays developing in midfield. Good touch there from Bluey, but Rix Ronde just a little too slow, and the dunk from Tadpole turned away by Justice. And a good pass out, but Bluey gets beat to that ball, and if this team is going to be successful, Bluey is such an integral part of the operation. He just hasn't been his true form so far this season. Only 12 goals when Rix and Tadpole coming into the series, both at 19, and both of them shooting the lights out. 41% shooting for Rix Ronde, 36% for Tadpole. And Bluey just hasn't been able to get involved in offense. I know he's shooting well. I know he's getting assists, but when we think of Bluey, we think of nutty goals, and I want to see something from him this series to just really put us on the edge of our seats.
Looking for an X factor to step up. I agree with you. Sometimes that third man can really change things. I mean, Lion Blaze was considered that for a while until we now call him the number 1, and then Jacob woke up, which was always a great thing to see. A carry, no, this should end in a 2-1 win. Make it 3-1, another goal. Sure, why not? 8 goals now for Justice. 2 games, 8 goals, Subi. I mean, the dude's on fire.
He is, but without Mike Boy on the field setting him up, I don't know if he'd be this successful. Mike Boy now 2 games in a row, a playmaker in each of them. Everybody getting involved for RJM. This team, look at the defense there. Everything is there. Just playing perfect Rocket League here. Looking like a freight train. Just so much power behind them. And it's just the team plays that's throwing Triple Trouble off.
I think this speaks volumes as well. To echo your point, which I thought was made wonderfully about Mike Boy setting up plays, it speaks volumes to RJM's ability to find accuracy on good goals as well as creating shots, right? Like, yes, Mike Boy can set it up, but Justice still has to finish. He still has to come in and make sure that the shot gets down, but no one follows up or no one punches it away, and then you have to fall back on transition. So, I mean, hats all around. I mean, Brizex, who was the X factor in week 1, he was the guy in week 2 and 3 who carried. He's been quiet, man. He has 1 goal, 5 shots. He's chilling. Mike Boy is setting up everything. Dude's got 3 assists, 2 goals for Justice. You have 1 goal from Tadpole, but other than that, only 4 shots. Like, they are completely, you want to talk about shutting down an opponent or dismantling them? Like, they are completely shutting down Triple Trouble. I don't think we expected this. I know F. did, but I'm just surprised.
Yeah, and we were talking pre-show, and we had Strange Stranger in our conversation as well, because why wouldn't you? He's one of my favorite people, not only in the Rocket League scene, but in the world. He's just a fantastic guy. But we were talking about the first matchup, and I was making my predictions just on the fence, and he said, this isn't a slam dunk for you? Like, even he thought RJM was going to come out on top. I just had a lot more faith in Triple Trouble due to their recent performance against Reciprocity, but it just, I don't know what's going on, man. There's just no midfield pressure. The shots aren't coming out, and they just, you see it right there. They're just trying to work the corners too much. Like, go to the midfield, try to throw RJM off.
Subi, it's, you know what's crazy is I think a lot of our predictions, we obviously look at the stats, we look at previous performances, and we're like, okay, on paper, this team should win. And we always think that that's going to carry it. And then our gut's always wrong, and we come out and we're like, wow, we completely did not expect the result. And I think that I have to stop listening to my gut from now on, because I've been wrong most of these times, and it's just surprising. Great shot, top crossbar. And again, RJM coming out off the start. Oh my God, it could be another goal. But man, it's just, I don't think I expect this.
And the aerial bumps coming out from RJM are just brutal. There's one on Tadpole to give Mike Boy a ton of space. Great pass over to the left. Here comes Justice off the side wall. Rizex is up as well. Double tap. No, and Tadpole, they have numbers.
That's an open net.
Looking for a flip reset. Nothing there. And Bluey? Did Bluey get the save on that?
I think he got bumped into the ball and it saved it away.
Oh.
God, that was painful to watch. Those are those instances you need back. Never mind. Bluey's able to make something positive out of it. Oh God, that was gonna be a heartbreaker, but Tadpole gets it off the ceiling, Bluey handles it no problem.
A good shot placement there from Bluey, and waking up when his team absolutely needs him. Here in game 3, Triple Trouble, their backs are against the wall, down 2 games in the series. And that's one way to do it, is withstand that pressure on defense. And this scoreline could be 2-0. That ball was going in the net. I'm not sure Bluey got knocked into it. I'd love to see a replay on that. I'll definitely be watching out for it. But look at the shots coming out now for Triple Trouble. Took them a while to wake up, but hey, they're finally here.
Yeah, I was going to say, all of a sudden, we're seeing a completely different, rejuvenized team, which is always welcomed here. And, of course, we'd love to see this series go the distance, as it gives us more Rocket League, which is all we ever want. Rich Ronde should have no problem handling that. Bluey has absolutely no boost. He knows it. And a good demo in the air will give Justice room to work with, and he misguides it, and it goes right under his car as Tadpole gets the second goal.
And a good challenge there from Rix Ronde to get up in time, basically sacrificing his body to get that touch on the ball to keep it alive. And perfect shot placement from Tadpole. 3 or 4 seasons ago, I came down hard on Tadpole and his shooting accuracy. I think it was 19% or something. And I swear, ever since then, that lit a fire in this man's belly. And he has just shot the lights out. I brought it up earlier, but 36% this season, and you see it right there. Not only accuracy, but the precision to get it in front of the defender.
And just keep it away from Justice, who of course was coming off the wall. And just good plays all around. Triple Trouble have a 2-goal lead to start game 3 in a do or die moment. Challenge 1 to the sidewall. It's going to be Blue who goes up for it, and he will not elect to carry this as Mike Boy sends it away. Over 2, Mike Boy on his lonesome, but has 3 players from Triple Trouble there to disrupt traffic. And again, back towards midfield. No, towards the box. There comes Rizx, and it's knocked away. And again to the sidewall as Tadpole looks to carry. And Rix Ronde has to get a shot out, and he wasn't able to clear it, Subi. And Mike Boy says, hello, I'll take it from here.
Oh, and Rix with the accidental touch goes right to midfield at the top of the box. And Mike Boy was there for the punish. Good positioning there to keep the pressure on, and those simple mistakes that come out, you're well placed to punish.
Just a 1-goal game. Could not flick it to his teammate. A double commit, and Blue is going to try to bump out Rizx. Missed it. Rix Ronde underneath. Back to the corner. And it should be handled by RJM. No problem to take it away off the top of the bar. And again, RJM stall out on defense, and here comes a transitional opportunity. This should be a pass forward. Justice goes up for the challenge. That's going to go off the back wall. No waterfall. See you back to midfield, and Rizx wins the battle again. Before the air, redirect comes in, and now Triple Trouble have a chance. But back to midfield we go. So back and forth in transition on defense. Both teams are getting their hands on the ball. It might come down to one of these lucky booming clears that really breaks something open.
Yeah, and good keep there from Rizx to push that ball back into the orange half. And I know there's still plenty of time for RJM, but so far I've been really impressed with Triple Trouble's ability to limit the shots. I swear there was 25 to 30 shots in games 1 and 2 combined, and so far here, 6 shots, make that 7. I don't really count that coming off the ceiling, but they've just done a great job of limiting the opportunities that RJM has here in game number 3.
And it's really just been keeping the ball inside of RJM's half. Great shot, saved away. But again, Triple Trouble putting pressure where pressure is needed. And now with 10 seconds, we're looking at absolute crunch time. Knocked away into the corner for Rix Ronde, who should have no problem handling it, as he's just stalling out time, and we should be looking at game 4.
Smart play, and Mike Boy keeps it alive, avoids the demo as well, and ball still up in the air, but low boost for RJM. Gonna lead to a flail off that side post, and the first win for Triple Trouble in this series.
So all of a sudden, Subi, we're looking at game 4. Things look a little bit different. Of course, 1 goal from Mike Boy, but Tadpole, Bluey getting the ball, Rix Ronde again, relatively quiet in assists, 2 saves, but everyone playing defense, at least a save per person. Only 4 from Mike Boy, everyone else kind of quiet for RGM, but I want to know what you're thinking. Like, well, I'm still not completely sold on Triple Trouble's performance, but they're staying alive, and that's really all that matters, right?
Right, correct. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, staying alive is the name of the game in the rival series. You're going to go down in series, and it's all about how you come back from it is the big difference maker. But the difference maker, I feel like, for Triple Trouble offensively was the assists. Every goal had an assist coupled with it, and that's what this team does best. This season, they're first in the league for goals per game as a team, first in the league for assists per game, and when they are firing on all cylinders, it is just so hard to compete with. But that's the problem, is this team, it's not always firing on all cylinders. There's times where it just seems like something isn't working, something isn't right. And that's what they need to figure out, because when they're right, man, this team is so good, and they're so fun to watch because those passing plays are coming up and down the field. And if they're going to win this series, they have to resort to that. They have to play the team game and not try to go to the 1v1 plays.
Yeah, very much. It kind of feels like someone's warming up the engine for this team, and it's just taking a little too long. And off the start could have been a very quick 1-0 lead for RJM, which I'm sure they would love at this point. But again, a 2-1 lead in the series. But
oh, nice save from Bluey. Good goal line stance. But yeah, you're saying it just takes a while to warm up the engines. Mike Boy couldn't quite get to that. A little too far forward. I got excited for that one. I love trying to watch these plays developing. Great cutoff there from Tadpole. Saw the play developing. And now Justice has to try and get the save. Rix Ronde puts the shot A good defense from RJM.
What I'm noticing from Triple Trouble more is they're challenging these midfield hits. Like, they're not waiting back on defense. They're not unsure of what's to come. They're winning the challenges. They're playing in traffic. They're not afraid to get dirty. And that's the reason we're currently sitting in game 4. And Bluey's going to carry it. Justice will take it away. Up for Mike Boy. And that's going to be a pass forward off the sidewall. But you have 2 players from Triple Trouble sitting in their back, so no progression for now. A shot down, saved away. Good double commit. Keeps you alive for now. But you have to find a way to get it out of your own half. And again, Bluey will take it away.
I'm gonna disagree with you just on one point.
Go for it.
Oh, nice demo. We're gonna talk about that in a minute because that could have led to something, but Mike Boy tried to pinch it along the wall and just bounced off the ball. Pretty much hit it straight on. But the good double commit that you were calling out from Triple Trouble, I don't want to see that at all from them. I don't want to see one double commit this game, because if they're going to take down RJM, they have to play perfect. Rizex, beautiful flick, good car control. Bluey can't catch up, and there we go. They have the go-ahead goal.
So we're talking about no double commits, but in that situation, looked like one player was rotating back. Everyone else was kind of grabbing boost. What are you saying in that situation, Subi? What are you telling your team, especially when a goal like that is given up so easily?
Oh, nice shot from Rix Ronde going backside. And Bluey with the follow-up, but misses that upper 90. There's a defender there anyway, but if I'm on Triple Trouble, I am just telling them right there, another double commit. Got to be careful with those. I get there was a call-off, but that one was definitely close. Good offensive passing plays. And another shot, but the defense holding strong from RJM, and Triple Trouble just can't seem to get the offense going here in game 4.
Rizex and Justice just single-handedly saved game 4 for RJM. So, of course, hats off to them for that. And hats off, or 2, I should say, for Justice for that double hat trick in game 1, which, remember, was an RLCS record. And another save from Rizex, and the demo underneath the net will give them an opportunity, but it's knocked away. And the defense from Justice, I mean, we talked about it in a couple of weeks prior. We talked about it in week 1, but since then, he had been relatively quiet on defense. Justice plays amazing defense in net. I mean, the dude is a save machine.
Rizex looking for a bump there, but good avoidance from Bluey, and great pressure from Mike Boy, not allowing Rix to get that ball on his hood. Double commit, but the miss from Rizex comes out, back pass, and RJM maintain pressure. The infield pass, the shot, the goal. That's 2 for RJM.
That was like watching a pitcher throw strike 3 and the batter just stood there looking. You could see 2 players underneath net just didn't know how to respond. A good redirect from the pass, and just, man.
That much power, you're going to be staring at that ball.
Yep.
I mean, there is no way you're going to make a play on it. So
Oh, hey, there it goes. Oh,
there
look,
it goes.
Yeah.
But now it is crunch time for Triple Trouble. They need a goal quickly if they want to have an actual shot at tying this game up.
You know, it's so hard when series like this, when you have such good matchups, because you expect, obviously looking at the stats, looking at the previous matches, you expect teams to play to their strengths, and you're like, okay, well, Triple Trouble on paper is one of the best teams we have. RJM has been quiet at times, but they're a very explosive roster. But it's just, you know, you never expect teams to kind of underperform. You always expect them to do what they do well, and it's hard when matches like these are so close on paper. But again, I'm surprised with how RJM have come out, completely changed their approach to the field, and Triple Trouble's looking relatively slow. And in week 5, it's kind of hard to do that, looking at how that record will start to shift down at 2 and 3.
Beautiful. Great save from Rix, but I love the offense from RJM. Just so willing to set up teammates, and holy pinch that comes out. Tadpole puts it up, but no double tap is there, and 20 seconds remain. It's going to take a miracle for Triple Trouble to come back in this match. They do keep pressure. Tadpole comes down, has Rix in midfield, pass, shot, again the goal, but Triple Trouble still down by 1.
12 seconds to be anything is possible. We've seen way wilder things, and if any team can do it, it is Triple Trouble. It is Rix Ronde.
It is.
We'll see if they
This
can do it.
kickoff,
Yeah.
no win.
Well, let's see what happens. Face off won by Mike Boy. And that goal, no. Rix Ronde knocks it away. 4 seconds.
Oh,
This should seal it.
so
That's going to
smart.
seal it.
So smart at the very
Take it
end there
back.
from Justice.
Taking it back to your own half, man. It's Rocket League 101.
Oh, that was a
RJM.
heads up play, and Bluey let that one get away from him. RJM just
Too.
that momentum in this match and rolled along with it.
What I love about this series, Subi, is, of course, Rizx had 8 goals. He had 6 in game 1, 2 in game 2. But can we talk about how Rizx and Mike Boy then stepped up and Justice was able to kind of just sit back and just play great defense? Like, the dude just was like, okay, like, I don't have to score. I'll just keep blocking things from the net. 3 saves, 1 shot. Of course, 1 for 5 for Rizx, but at the end of the day, a goal is a goal. It doesn't matter how many shots you put down. If you're winning the games, 1 goal on 7 shots for Rix Ronde. Accuracy, not necessarily. Great goal opportunities, not great. Trouble kind of just looked flat. I didn't see them, like, other than, of course, some of the double commits you talked about, they just looked flat the whole series. It's not like a horrible issue. It's just one of those things where, hey, next week, can't do that. You got to come out better.
Well, it's hard when you have a player come out and almost double their total goals for the season. Justice came in with 12 and left today with 20. Just an insane performance from him. An insane performance from RJM, and just like that, Triple Trouble fall to 2 and 3. RJM go up to 4 and 2. But up next, are we going to see another one where the favorite doesn't come out on top? We're going to find out as Baguette Squad is going up against We Dem Girlz. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
You said you're cool and that it's alright, but you're hiding something that don't feel right. You know life is better when we just talk. When we just talk, let's talk.
Welcome back to the Rival Series, folks. My name's Tom F. Battinger, and that game belonged to RJM. Subi and Spaceman still here. What's good, buds? I just want to ask you, I forgot. What did you guys predict? Who did you guys predict to win that last one?
I predicted that G2 was going to beat... Wait, what match? I don't even remember what we were playing. Yeah. Spaceman.
Just kidding, you guys. Well, I'm not kidding. You guys predicted Triple Trouble. RJM brought the win, but to give you guys some credit, you guys did say that this would be an arduous matchup for Triple Trouble. And it was, when we saw game number 2, I think was much more indicative of what you guys expected. Game number 1, Justice just came out and slammed it home. 6 goals. That's a record.
It's incredible to see. I mean, that is insane. That, like I said, he almost doubled his total goals for the season in that match alone. So I mean, that's just bonkers. So when you're playing a team that's that on fire, it's just so hard to slow them down. You got to reach into your bag of tricks and hope that you can pull out a white rabbit. And unfortunately, Triple Trouble couldn't do such.
I feel that. There was something in the air, and RJM took it and ran with it. That's game number 1. Game number 2 should be an interesting look as well. We have 2 teams that should be theoretically evenly matched. We're looking at the number 10 team and the number 7 team. Baguette Squad, Swoopin, Rizwell, and Yukis yet to find a win. Hoping to bake one in today, whereas We Dem Girls, Ixo, Greasy Meister, and Breezy will be taking the pitch today here. The question is, will Baguette find their first win? And that's the question I'm just going to lead with. Yes or no? Spaceman, lead us.
Yeah, they will. This is how I see this series. Yes, We Dem Girls is We Dem Girls. We could talk all year about them. But Baguette Squad, this is when they're in the Iron Lung and they're on the sidelines and the Monstars are running the court. And all of a sudden, Bill Murray walks out of the tunnel and he says, I was born for this. I thrive under pressure. That's what this is, okay? Baguette Squad, we believe in gluten on this stream. They are going to come out and they're going to win their first game of Rivals. It's happening. I can't wait.
That's huge. Spaceman here, very excited for it. Subi, I'm going to ask you both what I asked Spaceman and your prediction. So give me your prediction and give me why.
Oh boy, I'm glad that you said this is a gluten-friendly stream now, because ever since we got rid of Corelli, we can do that now. Love you, Corelli. Hope your travels are going well, by the way. We wish
out of frame. That's
the best. Cool. But with my prediction, this is a tough one. As we talked about, on paper, things can look close. And when you watch film, things look different. But in this matchup, I'm going to go with what we see on film. And what I see on film is a team that is going to come out and capitalize on mistakes and capitalize on double commits. And that team that's going to come out on top, going to be Baguette Squad. I know, Tom. I'm throwing you for a loop, but it's Baguette Squad.
Ooh, okay, so we have you locked into Baguette Squad.
Yeah.
And from the sounds of it, Spaceman, also you. How are they going to do this?
Okay, because they need a win, and this is their best opportunity. This is their best chance to get a win this season.
I'll tell you what it is. F. This is what I see. First, I'd start the morning to clarify things. I'd picked We Dem Girls, but after some heavy consideration of my own subconscious, I decided Baguette Squad's going to win. Here's why. This is what we've seen from Baguette Squad. They're 0-5. Yes, their play has been a factor. Obviously, the record shows. But here's what I see. Mistakes as a team, less individual. We Dem Girls is a different situation. They are very skilled individually, but as a team, they're still figuring things out. This is a situation where coming into this week, Baguette have worked for 5 consecutive series at trying to figure out this team play. Last week, they looked a little better. They looked a little bit like they were coming into their own. They played BDS. It wasn't that close, but BDS is one of the best teams in this entire circuit. You're playing Weedham Girlz. You pick them apart. I'm telling you, Baguette Squad, this is their chance. This is their opportunity. They're going to win. They're going to do it. 3-0.
3-0?
3-0.
Oh, okay, that's all right. I mean,
3-0.
I'm down for it.
3-0.
I picked them, so let's go.
3-0.
3-0, baby. 3-0.
I can't wait to be right. I can't wait. It's going to be fun.
Oh, 3-0? That's bold. I thought I was bold
Chat.
just going Baguette Squad. 3-0?
3-0.
Oh my goodness. I don't know what to
3-0.
say to you guys. Chat, I'm still here and grounded. Last game I was spamming in the chat, host prediction right. Casters are tight, and I think I'm going to be saying the same thing. My prediction here is WeDG. I think Weedham Girlz, they've got 2 more wins than 0. In my opinion, 2 is better than 0. And so I think Weedham Girlz is going to win because they've done it before. And Baguette Squad, in all honesty, this Greasy Exo Breezy roster is tough. And I think Baguette Squad, will they finish with 0 wins? I don't know, but they're going to finish this week with 0 wins. I don't think WeDG is where they go. So I don't know, man. You guys are wild for your predictions. I'm rooting for you, though. I am rooting for you. You guys can root for whoever you want. Baguette Squad, Weedham Girlz taking the field. It's all you.
Subi, I think in a couple of weeks ago when we were looking at Weedham Girlz and we were like, wow, like this team is crazy. I think when we meant team, we meant like looking at all the talent on the field. We're like, holy crap, they are just winning games left and right. But it was all individual. It wasn't. And then when they started going up against teams that have really good team communication and rotations, all of a sudden things were breaking down. Baguette Squad is, dude, I'm telling you, you can see it, you can feel it. They're close. What are you seeing?
Close.
What do you think's the key to beating Weedham Girlz?
Okay, so we talked about it. I think it was last week because we commentated their matchup, but I don't know if we brought it up last week or 2 or 3 weeks ago. But I was calling out, if you want to beat this team, you focus on Exo, try and take him out of the play because he's the guy that scores. And last week I realized, let Exo do whatever he's going to do, because if you take Greasy and Breezy off the field, Exo has to try and do it himself. Right now, he has more goals than Breezy and Greasy Meister combined. He's got 15. They both have 5 apiece. So force Breezy and Greasy Meister to do something offensively. Force them to beat you, because you know Exo's going to get his.
Yeah, and Greasy was always the guy to open things up. We've said that 1,000 times, but it's true. And then, of course, Exo would get comfortable. But off the start, it's going to be Yukis, who had a shot down on net. And Rizul will carry it, never mind. Intercepted by Greasy Meister and back the other way, and Exo will follow. In transition on defense, should be Baguette Squad. And they get the carry away for now as Breezy has to come back. Well, they have
good wave dash, but the bump comes out from Exo to...
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. I saw that bump in midfield.
We both saw the same thing. We were like, okay, the bump, no boost, still got it. They're going to keep going. So no problem.
Oh, great delay of flick.
And a great takeaway from Yukis, a pass up to Rizul. That's going to go off the backboard. Who's going to follow? Oh, no. A redirect opportunity. But again, Baguette Squad coming off early, and they're getting shots down on net, which is important to sort of control the pace against a team like Weedham Girlz.
Oh, great infield pass. And Breezy looks like he didn't have the boost to go for that. He has 70 in the tank. Awkward spot, but he does get that one pushed away, get it towards midfield. But again, no clear, and Yukis headhunting, but no, decides to go for the back pass. Exo gets the demo, gets the pass. Greasy with a shot. What a transition play downfield.
That back pass and the demo that followed literally set up the entire goal. Then a demo from Exo, got no chance. If that demo doesn't come through, maybe it's a contestant of the corner, but off the start, no chance. Weedham Girlz strike first.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. If you're going to miss the ball on the back wall, it is going to be a short day for you, my friend. Rizul goes up. The ball comes down all alone, and Greasy hits the wide open net. Gets his second one of the series.
I still believe, Subi. I still believe in the cause.
Oh, I'm not going to give up.
They will.
You know,
I still believe. How dare you, F-Dot? Not a believer. Can't believe it. Exo with another shot. A save from Yukis. they need to get this out of their half. That's the biggest thing now, is they're losing these challenges. Finally, they get it out. Rizul does get some boost. And he's going to flick it over Ixo. No, Ixo gets a touch, and it's going to send it back down for Swoopin, who pinches it into the corner. A win from Greasy Meister, stalls it out. A challenge won by Baguette Squad. And over the top of Rizul before Swoopin takes it away. So they're going to hit this back. Again, questionable as they lose it, and it's into the corner from Greasy Meister. Not really loving some of the passing from Baguette Squad off the start. It looks like they're setting up for teammates rather than trying to get field control.
I mean, I liked it coming out of the gates the first minute, but it fell apart, and Yukis can't get the double. It was there, but couldn't make contact with the ball. They maintain pressure here, keep control in the offensive half. Great pass down, and a awkward touch somehow gets it, keeps it alive, but Swoopin can't get it on target. And finally, the clear comes out for Weedem Girlz.
It's a good touch and a good bump, but ooh, just too high. As Baguette Squad should have control. Challenge won by Breezy. And they've had a couple of shots, but they haven't been great. They haven't been high quality. That should, oh my goodness, just off the top of the crossbar. But again, this pressure is not only building up momentum for Weedem Girlz, but it's burning time, which is going all against Baguette Squad. Rizul with a great save over the top. Another opportunity, and this is what's dangerous about Weedem Girlz, is that individuals can create these shots.
Oh, good shot from Yukis, but way to stay grounded from Greasy and get the save on that ball, and another save from Greasy. This is what this team does best. They lead the league in saves per game, so positioning is their strong suit on defense. It's that midfield control that they've lacked all season long, but it seems in this game, they've figured it out. And 1 minute to go, you'd like to see Baguette Squad get a goal pretty quickly so that they can have some time to work with to try and tie this ball game up.
I think their biggest problem is that they've been losing a lot of these challenges. So now what could be a great opportunity is Rizul is hanging on the sidewall. Yukis into the corner. Center for anyone? No. Taken away. No follow-ups for now. And it's back to midfield and closing in the 30-second mark. This looks like game one should be all but over unless a miracle goal comes in. But again, just a good job from Weedem Girlz, right? Challenging on these hits, making sure that you burn time. Oh my God.
Hey, watch this hit from Rizul. He jumps off the ball. The ball didn't move. He went further than the ball did, and Greasy says, "Thank you, I'll take that." And notches a hat trick here in game number one.
That's like that's like moving a pass under a defender's legs and just laying it up into the net. And and Subi, you said it, right? You said it first. You said they need to force Greasy to score. Okay, he has a hat trick.
I mean, if this team, if Greasy Meister's getting involved, if Breezy is getting involved, and might I note that Breezy still hasn't done anything here in this game. He does have one save. He's got 4 shots, but no goal, no assists. And that's what he's been lacking all season. But if you've got Greasy Meister or Breezy, one of the other, getting involved to take, hold on. There's still 3 seconds to go.
Listen, I'm as hopeful as ever, but I know that 3 seconds is damn near impossible. Then again, we've seen anything happen. If this goes to overtime, that should do it. That should do it.
You've got, okay.
Yep, that's going to go right down. Okay, hold on. That's to the corner. But no one's going to follow it, I don't think.
Oh, it's still up. This is getting dangerous.
Hold on, Subi.
Oh, it's still there.
Who's in a position, though? It's taken away. That should drop into the side. They just have to kill it.
You're kidding.
Carry from Yukis. Back the other way. This is not the way they wanted this to go. As that's going to drop. Okay.
That's a long
not
time
gonna lie.
to
About 5 seconds into that overtime, I was like, oh God, this might actually happen. Okay. Whew, I was preparing myself. But 3 goals, 3 shots, 3 saves. I mean, Breezy didn't have to do much, man. 1 save, 4 shots. It works. You put the ball on net, good things are going to happen. On the other side, 2 goals late in the party on 0 on 4 shots for you because Rizzo and Swoopin, an unlucky hit, but I mean, just Weedham Girlz just took him apart, man. I mean, Greasy Meister scored early. You said he has to be the guy. Talk to me about that. What is it about this guy that makes him so special, being that he's a former world champ?
I mean, all you got to do is take a look at his hand and see that ring on his finger because, yeah, world champ. And I don't care how long ago it was. It takes a special someone to hoist that trophy. And Greasy has always had the drive. He hasn't missed an RLCS season yet. Well, RLCS, yes, but Rocket League ecosystem. He's been in RLCS. He's been in Rival Series. I mean, ever since the start of it. So his hunger and passion is there. And it's not like he's a grandpa with a walker. This guy can still game. He can still ball out. It's just learning a new team. When you're playing with 2 rookies and you've got someone so dynamic like Ixo, you've got to figure out a play style. And maybe now that's shaking up because week 2 B-Stream, they got swept. Then they had a bye week. Then last week, they got swept against Notorious Legion. So it's been a long time since this team has tasted victory. That's why I went with Baguette squad, but it seems like Weedham Girlz kind of tired of that. They want to see what that victory's like again.
And of course, our prediction wasn't meant as a slight against Weedham Girlz. We know how incredibly talented those guys are. It was more of just kind of reading the tea leaves and expecting Baguette to course correct and change some of the things. Oh my God. I thought Ixo was just about to have the most disgusting redirect of a pass you've ever seen, but never mind. Breezy gets involved. We said he, where was he?
Spaceman.
There he is.
Watch how quick Breezy's up for this now. And Yukis jumped a second later, and you saw the distance between the 2 of them. There was no challenge on that ball. If you're going to try and beat these guys in midair, you can't take that long to get up off 4 wheels.
Once again, the story of Weedham Girlz is individual plays. Oh, just barely tried to pinch it in, but this is a situation where game 2, man, the series is starting to swing away. This is where you need to have a team effort come together, a collective unity for Baguette squad. Somebody has to step up. You have to start making some of these passing lanes connect. You have to start getting physical on the field. We haven't seen a lot of demos. We haven't seen a lot of hits. And the ones that we have been from Weedham Girlz. And another strike, Breezy Meister again.
Saw this one developing. Yukis with a very poor touch, and Breezy goes head hunting in the box, clears it wide open for Greasy. And just like that, everybody on the board now for Weedham Girlz. Breezy with a goal and assist, Greasy with a goal, Ixo with an assist. Been a relatively quiet day for Ixo, but like I was saying, if this team's going to be successful, it doesn't have to be on his shoulders.
And while they're going for these passes, a demo again on the wall, and Greasy with one of the most disgusting individual goals you will see in any series.
Oh, can we call that a reverse Doomsy dish? Because that is something of beauty.
God, I mean, you talk about a guy needing to individually carry and force to be an offensive weapon. You said Greasy Meister has to be the guy. Look what's happening, man. Just 5 goals. Is this going to be the week, Subi? Is this going to be the week of individual players getting more than 4 or 5 goals? Yukis with 8, and now Greasy with 5. Like, what is happening?
So what's happening is just hesitation on the side of Baguette squad. You saw there, that ball was just sitting in the box for way too long. It gave Ixo, Breezy tons of space, and they go for the air handoff. Beautiful play, but doesn't lead to much. And this is a very low percentage shot and high risk situation to put your team in. Good challenge, and the boost steal comes out as well, but Weedham Girlz looking so calm on defense right now. And it's easy to do that when so far your opponent, when you're nearing halftime, they've only got 1 shot on target.
So Justice currently holds the record today with 8 goals in a series. Let's see if Greasy Meister can catch that. Another challenge from Rizul will go nowhere. Swoop in with a follow-up. Redirected off the backboard. A demo in net in favor of Baguette squad.
Breezy spawned at the perfect time in the perfect spot.
This should be another goal.
Rare miss from Ixo there.
Off the ceiling, Greasy. Pinch down. Oh, God, dude. Another.
Yes,
Give it to him.
another. And that's another hat trick for Greasy Meister in this series. One in game 1, one in game 2. This man is on fire. He did not like, us speaking poorly of him in week 4. Decided to change that here in week 5.
2 players currently are sitting at 14 goals total for today. I mean, that's just disgusting. Another one. Breezy with the goal. Make that 2 for him. Looking to get a hat trick, dude. 5-0. Right now, Subi, you play this game a lot. We have fun playing this game. I'm going to ask you the same question I asked you last series, man. What in the hell do you say to your team if you are Baguette squad? Like, what do you do?
Just have fun. Because right now, Weedham Girlz is looking like a team that you can't stop. I mean, it's just, it's not looking good for them. But,
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, to put it seriously, have fun. And I mean that in a way of don't think too hard and stop double committing, maybe what I meant. No, but stop hesitating, because right now they're giving so much space to Weedham Girlz.
Yeah. It's kind of hard. Like, I see. Well, the problem is, I don't see really anything for Baguette squad. I mean, it's been all of Weedham Girlz. Like, finally, a pass to the corner, but it seems like a lot of what we saw last series, Triple Trouble was slow to start. Baguette squad, slow to start. Finally, a response with a minute left. But, man, it is just taken so long for Baguette to get something going in these games.
Well,
and we're looking
have
at going
they
to games.
scored outside of a minute yet in either game? Because last game looked close on paper, but those goals came at what, like 30 seconds?
30 seconds? Yeah.
3 seconds or something?
Yeah.
So, yeah, there was a mistake there, but you see Rizzual hit that ball away. So you saw Swoopin right behind him going for it. There needs to be communication, and it just doesn't seem like there's any right now for Baguette squad.
Oh, that was a great hit. But speaking of things kind of outside the box, another great carry, a beautiful save away. I don't know who that was in net, but I think it was Breezy. My God, what a challenge!
It was Breezy. Beautiful challenge.
Speaking of things outside of the box, I think it's pretty safe to say this game was all but done.
Oh,
it's teams like Weedham Girlz that stands out. It's teams like BDS, right, where you can outscore your mistakes, no problem. That's really where this season kind of has gone. It's been less of, amazing, masterful teamwork that we've seen like out of teams like some Stromboli, and more of who's going to just outscore their mistakes. And off the start, I mean, Weedham Girlz have mistakes, no question, but when your individual superstars like Greasy and Ixo are scoring at will, it's so much easier to beat teams that are less skilled individually but better fundamentally as a team, because you're just outscoring them when you can.
Well, that's the thing is, yeah, when your superstars are scoring a lot of goals, but look at Ixo on the bottom of the scoreboard. And I'm not saying he played poorly by being on the bottom of the scoreboard, because there's a lot of things in Rocket League that you do that are crucial to your team's success that don't put points up on the scoreboard. So I don't mean that whatsoever, but I mean, you've played 2 games against Weedham Girlz, and Ixo hasn't scored 1 single goal. Like, that's scary. That's scary if Greasy Meister and Breezy are playing this well and keeping matches this far out of control that Ixo doesn't even have to do anything on offense.
I think it was back in week 2 when we were in the studio when I looked at you and I said Ixo could have no goals and be at the bottom of the leaderboard with like 100 points, and we would still consider him like an MVP of the game if he did obviously all the things he does. Like, he doesn't have to score. He could literally just be involved on plays, get no touches, but you would still consider him the best player in the lobby with what he does with spatial awareness on the pitch. But I'm just, man, like, it's so easy for this team when Greasy Meister is the one leading charge and you have Breezy plays great defense, and when he gets involved, it's just another thing to put on top of him. But Ixo literally feeds off Greasy. So the fact that Greasy is getting going and Ixo can wake up at any time, that's the reason we were yelling their names so loudly at the start of the season, was because we expected them to play like this every series and go undefeated.
That is a beautiful transition. You just gotta have that shot. It's a tough one and a great save from Breezy. No difficult to keep that one out of the net. But you asked me, what does Baguette Squad have to do? And half-heartedly joked around saying they need to have fun, but I still believe that, you know, they need to have fun. It's so dangerous to play teams that have great potential, that are having fun. And, you know, we see it in traditional sports all the time, where a team that is having fun on and off the field are super dangerous. And right now, Baguette Squad, they're just looking tense.
Yeah. No, it's absolutely true. I think one of the old sayings that it goes back and forth is, as I wait to see if a goal comes through. No, it's don't team with your friends, make your friends your teammates. And a lot of times that rings true, sometimes it doesn't, but you have to be able to have good chemistry as a team. I mean, that rides out bad times more than failure ever will. So, it's just
another thing that I'd like to see from Baguette Squad, and sorry to cut you off there.
No.
What an angle from Ixo. My goodness, I thought he was going to pass this off the side wall. No, sir. Takes the angle himself.
Just a great setup. But like you were saying about this Weedham Girls team,
they're very good, and for Baguette Squad to counter this, it's going to be tough. But one thing I'd like to see is them tighten up their spacing. Right now they're very spread, and it's leading to a lot of unchallenged balls, whether it's on defense, offense, midfield. You're just giving too much space to Weedham Girls, and right now you just need to try and suffocate them. It's going to be hard because they're fast, but you need to focus on positioning, because that's where you can beat them. They might be faster at reading a ball off the ball, but if you're in a better spot, you can get to that ball quick.
Yeah, absolutely. And it takes weeks of practice to be able to fix those small mistakes. That should be taken away by Greasy, no problem. And up for Breezy to carry along the sidewall. He wins the challenge again, and it's stuff like this, man. Like winning a challenge while falling down, barely having to reset your positioning, and continuing a play forward. The extensions that Weedham Girls is able to maintain is it's insane. It's so hard to play against, because when they're reading 3, 4, 5 steps ahead and you're still trying to react, like that's when you get left in the dust.
That was a good chance there for Baguette Squad, but they couldn't make anything out of it. Weedham Girls had a collective 20 boosts as a team, and we're starting to scramble on defense. We're starting to eye those boost pads, but Baguette Squad sent 2 just like they did there, and just give up pressure.
2 minutes and counting, of course, a little bit extra, but that's basically crunch time, and we know how dangerous crunch time can be. People tend to burn the clock and play great defense. So you're looking at about
and right there,
3, 4.
Swoopin needs to turn on that. You saw him rotating back. He's got to turn. They're playing too lackadaisical right now.
Looking at about, would you say there are possibly like 3, maybe 4 good extra open break chances before this game is essentially out of reach?
A minute 45, I give at least 5 or 6 good chances if they can create it themselves. But that's the thing. Look at how just ridiculous the gameplay is from Weedham Girls. Flip resets, good challenges, not giving space. There's a little bit. There's a pass, but the side flip from Yukis is going to turn the ball over, and you got to play perfect if you want to take this team down right now.
It's a big demo in net. That's going to go to the corner. And as time, that's the thing about these games, right? When you're, of course, they don't have an insurance goal, but when you're up and time starts ticking down, the longer you put on these attacks and these plays, the more time, obviously, that burns away. And it's just more pressure on Baguette Squad. Knocked away. A minute left. 1 goal is all you need. But the thing that scares me is that they just haven't been able to find anything, man. Like, there's no passing plays that they've been able to create or connect on. And 1 good hit like that is immediately taken away by the third man back of Greasy. And we're looking at a situation where Yukis is far pushed up. He's going to rotate back to grab it. And he's lost the challenge again. And they've just burned 30 seconds off the clock. It's just been perfect play from Weedham Girls. Baguette, such high hopes in this series, but man, they have not responded at all. And sometimes when you're struggling to find your personality or your chemistry as a team, the record speaks for itself, and we could be looking at an 0-6 record, which essentially spells the nail in the coffin for this season.
Yeah, with this loss, I don't think they're going to automatically be coming back. They're going to have to fight their way back next season, being 0-6. I don't. There might be mathematically a way that they could still get 6th place, which is where they ended last season. They were 5-4, but 0-6. Yeah, the best they could do is 3-6. It's going to be tough for this team, but I think we have to commend Weedham Girlz this match. That they came out and really looked like a different team that we've seen all season long.
Oh, absolutely. It's hard because Baguette squad has such great individual talent. Like, it's basically just been them putting puzzle pieces together and figuring out this team, and it's disappointing when we don't see them do that. But last week we said this is the time of the season in Rivals when personality is everything, right? The personality of your team is what carries you. Weedham Girlz just annihilated Baguette squad off the pitch. I mean, it wasn't close in game 1. It wasn't close in game 2. Even game 3 with a 1-0 lead, Baguette squad couldn't get anything going. Like, they had no midfield pressure. You were talking about Swoopin missing some of these swing hits and moving things forward. Every time they tried to extend a play, Weedham Girlz was there. Like, they were there to cut it off. Subi, you've seen these players before. You've seen Weedham Girlz before. You've looked at Ixo as a player to rise up. Are you seeing the same things from them that you've seen prior, or are you seeing them hit a new form as the season progresses?
I think Weedham Girlz is starting to find that new form. You know, they're rising right now, like a good bread. They're rising, and they're not fully finished. They haven't been tossed in the oven yet. Still a lot of work to be had, but one team that definitely doesn't need a lot of work is the undefeated RCD Espanyol. And after this break, we're going to see if Notorious Legion can hand them the first loss. Don't go anywhere, as F. Stacks and Supersonic are going to break that one down for you, and we'll be right back.
On my mind. On my mind.
Welcome back to Rocket League Nation. I'm your boy Tom F. Battinger. This is the Rival Series, and I've got two friends along with me. Say hello to Stax and Supersonic. You guys know and love them. How you doing, Super?
I'm doing great, man. Just got back from vacation, feeling good. Ready to get into this first match. I'm excited for it. It's going to be a good one.
How about you, Stax? What's good, man? How you doing?
Doing great. Really excited about this match coming up in particular. This week so far has been, not really a surprise as far as the results are concerned, but just the dominance that we've seen from the two teams that have won so far. It's been very surprising to see how well that they have just throttled the opposition.
I got to agree. I mean, we of course have 4 matches today, 2 already in the books. I got a chance to sit up here with Spaceman and Subi while we looked at RJM versus Triple Trouble. I got that one right. RJM took it home. Baguette Squad versus We Dem Girlz. I got that one right. We Dem Girlz took it home. And now we get to see RCD Espanyol versus Notorious Legion, which is a big deal, although it might be more complicated than we see, and Servette Geneva Esports versus Team Vertex. We'll wrap up the day a little bit later. But it's really interesting because, of course, we know the RLCS and the Rival Series are the big show. But you can't do Rocket League without paying attention to the community. It's one of my favorite parts. We've got a whole bunch of different tournament series. Johnny Boy out there doing the European Invitational. Supersonic, you have been hot on Notorious Legion Esports.
Notorious Legion's been doing really well in their group stage. They topped theirs. They were in a group with Dignitas, AS Monaco, and TSM. They took down the 1 spot in their division. I'm feeling really good about them. They've figured something out, and they have been on a hot streak since about 5 matchups back, counting RLRS and the European Invitational. And I think they finally figured it out. I'm really liking them so far.
They've been exciting to watch. RCD Espanyol, Steak Toxin Zamway, though, these guys undefeated. I mean, we can look at all the stats. Stacks, you're a stats guy, right? But when it's 5-0, it's just 5-0.
Yeah, it is. There's nothing fancy about what they're doing. I mean, they've gone to game 5 4 different times, which is crazy. They have a sweep over We Dem Girlz, and then they've gone to game 5 and they've won every time. They had a reverse sweep against Triple Trouble in week 1. They had an epic 5-minute overtime where they get the game winner from Tox against Solari. We saw RJM earlier. This team beat them with an overtime winner in game 5 from Steak. I mean, they're getting contributions from everybody. It's a different person every week. They're a well-oiled machine. It's been a fun team to watch.
I love what you said about that last bit. They have a different person performing every time. That's the key. Because if you just have one guy and he doesn't perform, well, all of a sudden you drop and you see that. To go 5-0 after this amount of time, you've got to have that consistency. So as we move into the predictions, I do want to kind of lead in with you, Supersonic, because you were highlighting Notorious Legion Esport, and RCD Espanyol have a lot to show and a lot to kind of hang your hat on. But at the end of the day, if they do lose one, this is looking like one kind of shaping up for that.
I'm hot on Notorious Legion. I'm taking them today over RCD Espanyol. I think they're going to deliver their first loss of the season. I mean, right now, if we're looking at game differentials, they're 12-7 on 5 matches versus 15-8. I think at this point they're going to be 15. There's a possibility of looking at the way they've been going, maybe a 3-1. They end up being 15-8 as well themselves at the end of this one. The big part that I'm going to be looking for today for this to really come together is Taz is going to need to come up. Cash and Matean's stat lines are insane. Taz is definitely involved. He's there. He's getting some passes out. He's getting assists. But I want to see a little bit more presence out of him on the field on the defensive half to make sure that they can hold off the offense of RCD Espanyol.
Well said. If you're going to root for the underdog, I'd love to hear that sort of the thesis, the supporting paragraphs. I'll hit you for your works cited after that one. Stacks, talk to me, baby. What are you looking at for game number 3?
RCD Espanyol is a team that does everything that I love in a rival series team. They live by the adage, throw the ball at the net and hope good things happen, and they do. Nobody shoots more than RCD Espanyol, and they have the best scoring defense in the league, too. Only 1.6 goals against. I got Espanyol here. I think it's going to be a great series, but I do have Espanyol.
I'm just going to reverberate what Stack said. I think it's going to be a great series, and I love that Supersonic set the table. Listen, Notorious Legion's coming off of 2 wins in week number 4. Admittedly, it's against Baguette squad and Girlz, but then we see their performance kind of outside in the other tournament series, and those are very interesting. But at the end of the day, you're 5-0. I love the defensive stats as well. That really speaks to me in the rival series. You see a lot of offense. When your defense steps up, that separates you. So I go RCD Espanyol here as well. I think the undefeated are going to stay undefeated this time around. It's going to be an interesting look here. Stacks, you also mentioned that this is going to kind of be rough and tumble. What does RCD Espanyol have to look out for the most coming out from Notorious Legion?
I think they've got to look to the skies, actually, because both of these teams spend more time up near the ceiling, attacking from high above the field than anybody else in the league. And that's something that when you have that in your arsenal, boy, you become a very deadly team. And it's no surprise that both these teams are about equal in scoring.
Well, Notorious Legion looking to play high and ascend high up in the standings. We'll see if today's that day. Supersonic and Stacks, it's all you.
We've talked so much about the European Invitational, you and I, Supersonic, and these two teams. They are playoff teams in that tournament series. And, they join. When you look at that tournament, it's quite a field, right? You've got 3 rival series teams, including Triple Trouble and these two. You've got 2 teams that promoted last season. Veloce is another rival series alum. Then Dignitas and Sandrock Gaming. But you look at how these 2 teams got there in particular. Notorious Legion, you mentioned, they went 3-0 in their group. The only loss for Espanyol was to, I'm drawing a blank off the top of my head, but they did beat Triple Trouble, and they did beat, I would forget this off the top of my head, they beat Reciprocity. That'll get you a lot of notoriety as they come into this match here. Now they're looking to add Notorious Legion to their list.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about how they're going through this. RCD Espanyol takes down Triple Trouble. Triple Trouble ended up topping that matchup still overall, or that group. And then we kind of saw them here today where they're still kind of having some issues, and I don't see that play translating over quite as well as RCD Espanyol and Notorious Legion. Shot there from Stake. Gonna get knocked away.
Yeah, safe to say that some of the RLCS teams, in particular Dignitas, they know who this Notorious Legion team is now after they came back and beat them in 5 games. It'll be Tox going on over here. Matean, blocked by Jamoué. Now Cash. We talked about how much of a difference maker he is for Notorious Legion. Formerly Echo Zulu from a season ago. Mostly defense all throughout the 2019 calendar year, but it has been a new look team with Cash leading the way in scoring. Here's Taz trying to get on the board, but Jamoué will make that stop. Taz does at least make sure he gets that midfield boost on his way back. Cash downfield, he will beat Stake, and it is in fact 1-0 to NLE.
The one thing that is super consistent here is the ball is getting past to Cash all season long. He is that finisher for this team. Taz and Matane just feed him that ball repeatedly, and that might be the secret that RCD is going to need to pay attention to. They need to start shutting Cash down. If you let him have cherry picks like that, he's going to put the ball in the net every time.
So Cash strikes first off the feed from Matane. What does Espanyol have for an answer? We've talked about how they're going to get every team's best shot. They certainly got Vertex's best shot. That is not their best shot defending. Taz with a selfless play trying to find Cash. That does not work out, and you have to feel like Notorious Legion might have let a great opportunity slide by there. They had the defense of Espanyol all out of sorts.
Yeah, the crazy thing for me on this Notorious Legion team is that that Taz and Matane are feeding to Cash, and he's the guy scoring all the goals, but he's also the one that's most present in the box and gets the most saves. Taz getting involved here, though, off a quick pass from Cash into the mid lane, and he's going to bang that one home.
Yeah, this is a great pass, and again, more selfless play from Notorious Legion, getting that infield pass. A lot of players, even at this level, a lot of players would have just taken that shot, and it would have resulted in an easy save. That's just great team effort from Notorious Legion, showing why they are indeed a contender and still very much in the race to auto-promote, taking that top spot in the rival series. It has been a bizarre season, and Espanyol try to stabilize things a little bit here as they give away possession to get at midfield. It is Matane wasting a little more time off the clock, starting off the second half of game number 1. Jamway runs out of boost. Stake is all the way over. He will not get there in time, but this will fall to Tox. So he's done enough. Looking for Jamway, but Jamway did turn off the ball right at the last moment, and a wise decision, as might have been behind him if he had not.
Nice control from Stake there as he takes the ball to the side. Takes the shot himself, though. We're not really seeing a ton of passing plays coming out from RCD Espanyol. They're not putting any real pressure on the defense of Notorious Legion. They're giving them easy looks at the ball, and they're getting easy clears out. They're going to need to get these plays going, and as I say it, passing play to Shamway. He's not going to be able to send that one home, though.
Yeah, that's a great reflex save by Cash. Excellent read as he's not playing the ball there. He's playing the defender. He's watching him the whole way. Saw that Shamway took that wide turn out and realized there's going to be a booming shot coming in. He guessed right. That's excellent defense. One of the reasons Notorious Legion, one of the better defensive teams in this league, right there with Espanyol. Taz gets knocked off the wall, and it will bounce out to Shamway.
Sorry, talking over you there. On that, I want to point out that it's the awareness, too, of Cash defensively. He knows he has somebody behind him. He knows that his team is there and that they can pick up the ball if he does miss, so he doesn't have to watch the ball. That opens it up for him to be able to go and just make that play on that player that's looking for the pass, and that it really is one of the strengths of their defense.
Final 30 seconds as the shooting advantage definitely favors Notorious Legion. The Espanyol side that averages over 9 shots a game, they only have 4 up against the 9 that they faced. On the opposite side, Tox challenged by Matane again. That's all he's got to do is just keep the ball on the blue half of the field. And yet again, Notorious Legion just stuffs Espanyol back deep in their own defensive end. Samway will take over. Tox waiting behind him. He will not have a look at anything. The final seconds will burn off the clock, and Notorious Legion is out on the right foot. They have a shutout in game 1.
Great first round for Notorious Legion here. Again, opening it up. The first thing that I talked about is it's the pitch. They're shoving the ball Cash's direction, letting him have looks, makes the first goal of the game and kind of sets the pace for the match. Defensively, they're there, 9 stops. They're always there on defense, and it's really shows that play with Cash that I talked about for a minute there is really where that defense shows. The communication on that end and the trust in the other players that I got somebody behind me. I don't need to watch this first guy with the ball. I'm going to watch the secondary, even though he should be the first one going out to challenge the ball. He immediately switches over, and he knows that that's going to be a pass play and is able to pick that off. So defensively, Notorious Legion is putting up a wall right now.
both these teams come in identical in scoring, both averaging 2.2 goals a game, give or take. And as you see, Notorious Legion, they stick to about that average. More importantly, though, they shut Espanyol out. It does not happen very often for this Espanyol team. Every 4 shots or so, they're going to put one into the net. They do not this time around with exactly that many. Now we look ahead to game 2 on Urban Central as Espanyol tries to right the ship, try to tie up this series. Notorious Legion, boy, they have had one heck of a start to week number 5.
Yeah. And one of the things that I'm going to say to the strength of RCD Espanyol is that when they take a loss on a match, they're one of the teams that does make changes immediately in the gameplay and how they're going into the next match. They do really good at adjusting, and they may be able to figure this one out here. I still think this match is going to go probably 3-1, 3-2. I'm hoping we get a game 5 on this one.
I would be shocked if we did not. This will be Matane throwing one, just more a token ball downfield that should have been collected and dealt with by Espanyol, but does result in more offense for Notorious Legion. And it results in a goal as well as looked like it was Cash who was able to kind of jam things up along the back wall. And boy, Espanyol could not recover.
He gets 3 of them there. It's such an awkward touch from Cash as he comes off the wall, kind of scoops it underneath, just barely lifts it over those defenders, causes the third man to panic flip, opens up the net for Taz. Taz being more present here on the offensive side. He's already gotten 2 of the 3 total goals so far, and that's really what I wanted to see. Either more presence offensively or more presence defensively, and I think that Taz can open up on the offensive side because of how much defense Matane and Cash have.
3-0, the goal advantage for Notorious Legion. 3-0, their record in the European Invitational. There are few teams in Europe or in the world that are as hot as this group, as they will lob another one downfield. Cox will throw one over towards Shamway. Stake is already waiting downfield. Redirect just off the mark, and Matane will get credit for a free save. Now here's Cox. His shot right at Cash. And no juicy rebound at all. It does go well out towards midfield. It takes Espanyol a moment to try and get back on the attack. The timing is just not working out right now for RCD Espanyol, as they've now gone almost 7 minutes without a goal.
Yeah, they need to get something going here offensively and get some presence down here, get a little bit of pressure. They're not putting nearly enough shots on net, and that's what we were talking about at the start, is that they're a team that shoots and shoots heavy, and they tend to put a ton of shots on net. They're not putting any, I take that back. They've had some shots. They haven't had any good shots on net. No real pressure that's challenged this Notorious Legion defense yet.
Cox with a challenge. That counts as a shot, but it's not much of one. They have had 6 officially, and none of them have been particularly good. You had the shot from Shamway in game 1 that Cash ranged over to save. That almost finds its way through. Everything seems to be coming up Notorious Legion, at least right now for the first game and a half of this series. Here's Tox. Over to the corner. He'll get full boost. Needs someone to pass to. Has Stake waiting. Shamway comes up. That's a great pass over to Stake. And again, well read by Matane. Right place, right time. Notorious Legion stymie them again.
Yeah, that defense is just showing up. It doesn't look like they're under pressure ever. You just talked about it. They've got 7 shots right now versus 5, but it doesn't feel like RCD Espanyol really has had any traction yet. It feels all Notorious Legion. Another shot coming from them. Easy pickup, though, for Shamway as he knocks that one off, saves that one on the line.
Stake taken out and actually almost spawned in Tox's way. And now Shamway try and get one around the boards to Tox. He cannot. Rolled back out, and Matane is right there waiting. They are waiting for Espanyol to make a mistake, and they are coming perilously close to doing so. Matane gets another one towards center that Shamway will not get out of harm's way. Taz trying to slow play. Stake again taken out of the picture, and Tox. He ran out of real estate on that back wall as he ramped himself, but was able to make the save. Now to be Tox. cannot get past Matane, could not keep possession. That's been the struggle right now for Espanyol. They have not had nearly enough possession. They have had shots on goal as far as the scoreboard goes. But the stat that actually matters, they don't have anything in the net. Cash, this will drop down. Chamouet over to the corner again. And that's all Espanyol can do. Just dump the ball to their own corner. They're struggling to get out of the zone. Chamouet can't catch up to this. Cash will bring another one back in. The Tox goes way up. We talk about how these teams play up in the air, and you saw it on display there. Another challenge made by the ceiling. Now Tox can bring downfield at 20.
Yeah, the total hits from Notorious Legion is, man, an open net. Taz gonna put that one away, really being that guy that's finishing off the goals today. I love seeing this. I wanted to see some more from Taz, and he has just been there when they need him to be, time and time again so far through these first 2 matches. That's 3 out of 4 goals so far coming at the hands of Taz.
Well, this has been a dominant performance so far. You know, only a couple of 2-goal wins, but just the way that Notorious Legion has dominated possession. They will again pick up a shutout in game 2, and the hits keep on coming for Notorious Legion. Now 1 game away from sweeping the previously undefeated, or currently still undefeated, Espanyol.
They're getting a ton more touches on the ball. Their mid presence is really kind of gumming and gunking everything up for this RCD Espanyol offense. They're not able to get that ball past midfield with a good look. If they do end up beating that midfield defender, the ball's coming out of a corner somewhere else, and they're having to make these awkward touches for the net. They're not getting any real power or presence or pressure, onto the net. And unless they can figure out how to get that going, this third match is going to look a whole lot the same as what we've seen in these first 2 matches. I definitely did not expect. I expected Notorious Legion to show up today. They are dominant. They are showing up and exceeding all my expectations.
9 shots in game 1 for Notorious Legion, 11 in round 2. And you look on the other side, Espanyol, they did get a few more looks towards the net, but not necessarily at the net, at spots where defenders have to work to reach them. That's been Espanyol's strength. Get, kind of a filthy rebound, something that is a little sloppy on the defensive end. They haven't gotten that. Notorious Legion has not made that mistake. Everything has been out to the corners, away from any rebound opportunities. Now we go to game 3 where it's a must-win. Something's got to change for Espanyol. You said that they have been able to adjust on the fly, but the clock is ticking. Tox, double tap, and finally Espanyol gets one.
That's the way to open up game number 3. That's the way to get the motivation in the team, get that energy up, get that hype going, get you guys talking. That's the moment you want going into a game 3 in a do or die situation. Tox with a big play in the opening 13 seconds of this match.
So often we have seen teams shut out for the first 2 games in a series, then come to life very early on in game 3. It goes as 10 minutes and 13 seconds that Espanyol is kept off the board before Tox breaks up the drought.
This is a complete guess on... complete guess on my end. Ooh, Matane with a nasty shot off the pass from Cash. He's going to put one in. Nice quick ball. 80 miles per hour. Of course, I'm reading that in mine. I'm not sure what the KPH is on, but it's high. It's a fastball.
It is. It is. It is a challenge fastball that nobody's going to catch up to. 4th assist in the series now for Cash. And he's looking to set up another one with a helper here. Looking to help Matane. No, it's going to be blocked away. Now Tox back the other way. Quick counterattack. And it goes in off of Taz. He could not catch up to a fireball coming in.
Tox coming in big so far. The start of in the opening minute of this match. One of the things that we were talking about, though, is that stat of the team showing up in that third match. I would love to go back and look, but from the games that we've casted, the teams that do show up in that third match typically end up then going down in that game 4. See if they can keep this together long enough to take down game 3 and see if that statistic which I believe is accurate. Don't quote me on it. But we'll see if that ends up being the storyline here in if we get to Game 5 or get to Game 4.
This is the second time this season that RCD Espanyol has started a series down 0-2. The first, week number 1 to triple trouble. All the hype surrounding this new look offense of Bluey, Rix Ronde, and Tadpole. Is this going to be the team that's at the top of the league? No, it turns out it's Espanyol and triple trouble going the exact opposite direction. This goes to Chamois, and Taz makes the save.
I like the plays, though. They're starting to get some of these cheeky quick passes, move the ball around, make that defender's camera start doing some weird things, open some stuff up for yourselves. They're getting better touches, and their midfield presence so far in this match is up to snuff. They're finally getting these midfield leads, and Stake is going to take one home. 3-1, 3:03 left on the clock here in game number 3.
Yeah, this starts with a double commit at the net, and it didn't look that bad until you realize that Taz didn't have any boost to follow up the play. So all he could do is get a weak touch. He won the race to the corner boost, but nobody was able to get back in time. They had all committed downfield, relying on Taz to do a lot with nothing to work with. And so it does lead to a goal, but again, Notorious Legion has a couple of games in hand. There is the other side of that, where you don't want to let a team get much life once you've got a chance to close them out. Cash with a drive. That's saved by Chamois. Losing out on a closeout opportunity here, Supersonic. We've seen it happen so many times. The pressure starts to shift a little bit once you give a team a little bit of confidence.
Yeah, once you give them a little bit of confidence, it becomes a prop. God, once again here, defense not there. So defensively, the rotation's starting to break down here for Notorious Legion, and they're not getting back quick enough. They're starting to get ahead of themselves on the offensive half. I think they're trying to force things to happen that don't need to. They need to get back in that rhythm that they had through games 1 and 2. If you let this RCD Espanyol team get the heat and get wind in their sails, they are going to make you pay for it. You talked about it before. They are a team that comes back from these situations where they're down 2 and they can counter sweep.
And we mentioned 4 out of their 5 matches, they've had to go the distance. All 5 games, with the only exception being a 3-0 sweep that I'm sure Girlz would like to have another shot at. And maybe they will as the season plays out and we get closer to the promotion tournament. But that is still a long way away. A lot of business to take care of in this match, our 3rd of the day in Europe in week 5. This is Chamois making a block, but Mitane is right there, and he just forgot to take the ball with him.
Just off the tip of his nose, wasn't able to get there. Defensively, they had to rush to get back there. Again, Cash made it in time, but Notorious Legion, they're getting ahead of themselves on that offensive half. They're really starting to commit heavy.
Cash will take over. There is still time for Notorious Legion to climb back into this game, but you have to imagine that second goal is going to come sooner rather than later. Taz, blocked by Chamois. More time off the clock. Less time to work with. Less space to work with, it seems, as well throughout this game. Chamois has picked his spot. Cash has reached it. But that's all Espanyol needs to prolong this series. Make sure they don't have much coming at their net. And they have not. Only 5 shots this time with only 40 seconds left.
I'm wondering what the comms sound like right now on the side of Notorious Legion. At this point, you know this match is over. You're probably not getting 3. You're definitely not getting 4. Stake sends another one home. What is the conversation going on over there to get ready for this 4th match? Clearly, the winds have shifted. They are in the favor of RCD Espanyol right now, and they're going to need to regroup and refocus at the start of this next match.
It doesn't seem like this game can end soon enough for Notorious Legion. You mentioned getting to the point where you're looking ahead towards game 4, probably even halfway through this game. They might have already been at that point where it's like, okay, we do have a couple games in hand. Cox will take a knee here and let this one roll out. Espanyol gets one on the board, and they did so in convincing fashion. Everything that Notorious Legion did to them for the first 10 minutes, Espanyol has given back in the last 5.
It puts a little worry for me on the Notorious Legion side, because it feels like somewhere in the middle of that match, they checked out and they started trying to go really attack heavy earlier than they needed to. It felt like they started worrying sooner than they needed to. It feels like they don't play well when they are behind. They're going to need to get some early goals going and keep that traction, because if they get into the situation again, I'm worried that we may see a bit of the same.
It is a valid concern, because with this Espanyol team, when they get going, they steamroll downhill really quick. They're the type of team, you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. They've been given at least a few yards to start things off here in Game 3. Now to Game 4, and this is the one where if Espanyol gets an early goal, like they did 13 seconds into this game, then Notorious Legion, they might start kind of looking around like, is this the same team we just dominated for the first 10 minutes? It's very clear it is not.
Yeah, the other side of that worries me when you start doing that early is I would have loved to see them for the 2.5 minutes change up their pacing, do some different things, figure out what's going on. If you've checked out and you feel like you're going to lose that match, at least use that time on the clock to figure out what you can do to break up the offensive pressure from RCD Espanyol that they had going, and it didn't feel like they were making use of it, and now they're going to have to try and figure it out here at the start of Game 4.
Plenty of demos to go around throughout the series. That's been a trend for both these teams, both giving and receiving demos. So be Stake up against Cash, and he gets an accidental second touch, so that will send Tox all the way back to officially make a save on a ball that was rolling harmlessly to the goal. Now Tox against Cash trying to get the dunk. No, he can't catch up to it. So now Jamway. Well, that's well done by Cash. And Matane actually got run into by Jamway, but not enough to stop him as Matane barely makes the save. Back it goes all the way across. It is Cash now. Back wall, no. Stake makes sure it doesn't get there, and more importantly, does not get to the center until Tox is ready to clear. Quickly back the other way with Stake, and Taz is there to cut that off, and both teams continue to just throw light jabs in the first 90 seconds of a significant Game 4. Of course, another closeout opportunity for Notorious, and for Espanyol, chance to force Game 5, where they, as mentioned, are, well, 4-0 so far.
Little touch there from Cash, trying to create a play, but again, all three players were up, and the bumps are just coming time and time again. You were talking about the demos. RCD Espanyol getting really aggressive in that offensive half. They're getting a ton of demos and bumps. Well, I'll take back a ton, but they're getting them where they count. They're opening up opportunities. They just need to figure out how to close it out.
Stake has been pretty quiet for Espanyol. He came alive with a couple of goals in that last game. No assists just yet, as he was looking for a feed from Tox or to maybe clean up a rebound. Neither happened, and a chance for Taz, but he's thrown it way off to the corner. One that I'm sure he would like a mulligan on. Now it's going to be Jamway and Stake both up. That could be costly for Espanyol. Tox got to scramble back, and he misses the corner boost as it respawns. Not a lot to work with, but just enough to challenge Taz.
RCD Espanyol does have the Notorious Legion at a point where they're starting to scramble. They don't look or feel comfortable on that defensive half. On that backboard play on the last attack, Matane and Taz both committing for that ball, almost colliding with each other, which could have been a big issue, with leaving Cash out in the midfield with an open net behind him. I think that's where they're struggling right now. That defensive half, they're just uncomfortable at the moment.
Great pass over to Jamway. Tox coming onto the weak side. Got the dunk. And Espanyol's in front again.
Tox, that man right now for RCD Espanyol, coming through, getting all the goals. being that man to bring this team up, get that offense going immediately starting in that last match. I talked about that, putting the wind in your sail, getting the team up, getting them hyped, and when you're playing good and feeling good, this is what happens. The team looks like they are having a good time out there.
Fox now with his third goal of the series, add a couple assists to it. We talk about a different person stepping up all the time. This week, it is Tox when they need him most. Now Steak. Well, he's going to play that to himself. That's very patient, confident defending. And it's got to be frustrating for Notorious Legion as well because, again, they played so well for the first 2 games of this series, and it's all been washed away in some way. A blistering shot might have bent the crossbar at that point.
Yeah, that upper 90's got a little bit extra on it now. Tox, though, gonna find another one, a slow floater into the goal. Cash comes through, bumps Matane there, tries to get back on the ball, and Tox just gonna touch it. Matane falling off the wall there. That should have been, that ball should have been blocked.
Yeah, that's one of those goals when you score it, you realize, you know what, this really is my night. And it is working out for Tox now. It took him a while to come alive, but obviously much better late than never. 45 seconds remain. Taz with a shot saved by Tox. He does it all right now for Espanyol. That's over some way. No, he recovers and makes the stop. Coming off the back wall with 35 to go. It is Tox to Sting to Shamway. Looking for a double. No, it's wide. And it will be Tox blocked by Cash. This is a fortuitous challenge. And Steak is all the way back for the challenge, making sure that they leave the back door manned and make sure that they don't give up any cheap goals at the end.
So through game 1 and 2, the number of touches per player was way out of whack. Matane was the guy that was touching that ball over and over and over again in that midfield. Currently right now for this match, Matane has the least number of touches on the ball, and he had very few. I believe he may have been the least number of touches in the previous match as well. So they did finally figure out, RCD Espanyol in that previous match, how to get around Matane in the midfield. And since then, that defensive rotation of Cash and Matane have been thrown off. There's been double commits from Taz and Matane on the back wall, and that defense just falls down. It really feels like the anchor of that defense is Matane's midfield presence.
Week 1, mentioned it earlier, Espanyol started their season down 0-2 to triple trouble. They came back with wins in games 3, 4, and 5. It's the only time they've been down 2 games in a series. They have battled back this time as well, looking for their second reverse sweep, trying to reach 6-0. And boy, you'd have to come up with a very convincing argument to convince me that they will not do so the way they have played these last couple of games, because again, it's been night and day between games 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, what Espanyol has looked like against Notorious Legion.
It's a completely different team out there. Like I said, as soon as they figured out how to win that mid game, they've been in possession. They've been controlling the pace and the tempo. When Notorious Legion is fighting from behind, they do not look the same. It feels like they fall apart. The second they're down 1 goal, that rotation just kind of gets out of whack. They play really well when they're ahead, but they're going to need to clean this up for the rest of the season if they want to continue. The league play's still got a few weeks left.
There is a lot of Rocket League to be played, and for the 5th time this season, RCD Espanyol will play a game on Champions Field, and yet again, it is Tox scoring 14 seconds in.
So Matane's there, but the midfield, the turn timing there, like from Matane, he's off in the midfield. He's not in that presence. Games 1 and 2, he would have been at that 50. He was at the midfield, and now he's starting to play from this kind of no man's zone that's right on the line between the your defensive third and that neutral third. He's kind of playing that line rather than getting out into that midfield.
In 5 minutes and some odd teen seconds, Tox has scored as many goals as Notorious Legion has scored in the series. It is incredible watching this man come alive here as some way will make another stop as he turns at midfield. Now Jamway looking to center. His shot is going to be saved by Taz. Follow-up is saved by Cash. Now Matane's turn to make a save. He cannot. And who other than Tox to add on?
Tox is just a force to be reckoned with right now. Getting all the touches he needs, putting them right in the hard spots for the defense to get a touch on it, right on the top shelf there, touching that crossbar. The placement from him has been nothing but perfection.
He has averaged a goal per minute since the start of Game 3. Actually, that math does not add up. Well,
okay, I was about to say that
it is not that good. It is not that good. Ignore.
It's really good.
Ignore me when I start doing math. Caster math is very, very bad. Here is Steak. Over to Shamway. Back to Steak, looking to center. He does, looking for a defender, could not find one. Yeah, anytime casters start doing math, just tune out at that point. Here is Cash. He'll give away to Shamway. Steak is right there, and he's just going to let that go for Tox. That's great communication, a great pass, and a better shot from Tox. This goes right down onto his hood. You can't get any better than Tox right now.
It's not just Tox, though. He is getting the ball fed to him. The great pass from Jamway there as he makes a selfless play, brings that one back around. He could have gone for the redirect there. The defender was ahead of him. He could have actually leaned that ball back and tried to take the shot himself, but he makes the selfless play, throws it out into the open for Tox to make an easy shot on net.
They keep feeding him like this. It may be a goal per minute for Tox. Here is Shamway for Steak. He'll take a drive. Double on the way. RCD Espanyol has come alive.
RCD Espanyol, the kings of going to Game 5. They never make it easy on themselves. They take it to Game 5 time and time again, but man, do they shine when they get here.
They have owned Champions Field this season. They're about to go to 5-0 on this pitch and 6-0 on the season. Jamway looking to add another. This was going to fall to Tox eventually. Matane, his shot is actually going to be saved by Stink. You just assume it's going to be Tox every time because he seems to be everywhere the ball is. Now he's giving chase. Cash played that right to him, and Tox read him like a book. Jamway played a defender like a fiddle. They should score. They will not, as Stink has his shot blocked away.
I would love to talk about Jamway and those touches. He has been making those over and over again. He continually fakes. It's almost like he's going for the fake every single time, and Notorious Legion just isn't catching on to that because he's so close to the net. They have to respect the fact that he could take the shot, and they're forced to jump for it. And he just keeps continually making these soft touches and possessing control of the ball.
Tox will half flip to get out of the play here. Shamway all the way back. Does not make the save, but he altered the shot enough. And a desperation jump in front. Steak is there to collect. And Notorious Legion denied a goal yet again. Now Steak over to Shamway, who is waiting for Matane. And he read him as well.
My silence should say everything. They're just playing so clean right now. Shamway's reads and touches at the moment. I know all the other Steak has had some the backboard shot. Tox has been hot. He's making these shots, but the play and control from Shamway has been a spectacle for these past two matches.
Shamway,
he shoots
and yet another. This one goes off the post. It falls right to Shamway, and you can tell Notorious Legion is a broken team right now.
So, current touches for the match. Shamway, 64 touches compared to a 73-ish, 74 touches total for Notorious Legion. Shamway is controlling the pace of this match. He's setting it up for everyone on his team.
I mean, this is as one-sided a decider that we've seen. This is incredible from Espanyol, coming back from 0-2 for the second time this season. And as mentioned, night and day between the start of this series and the end. And that's the old adage, right? It's not how you start, it's how you finish. and Espanyol has finished. Taz will get a shot off. It will find the net, but all that does is set us up for a Brazil if Espanyol can put another in.
It feels like if you don't shut them down in a 3-0, if you let RCD Espanyol make it to a game 3 with you, by that point, they have figured you out. And if they get to game 5, you might as well just forfeit the match because they are unstoppable in game 5s.
A rare ball going over to the corner instead of at the net from Espanyol gives a brief respite for Notorious Legion to get some irrelevant statistics, maybe. Instead, they're back on the defensive end. Batain and cashed out, just all hero ball. It's my turn offense as players play out the final 30 seconds as nothing more than a formality. Another ball headed that way. It is Steak who adds numero 7.
And there it is. The Brazil has occurred. In the final 20 seconds, Steak gonna put that one in.
Yeah, my thoughts exactly. There's nothing more to say. There's 20 seconds left in what has been a beating in Game 5, and you look at how this series shifted after Notorious Legion shut out the first 2 games, Espanyol outscoring them 4-0. Since then, the final 15 minutes, as that one doesn't find the net, it ends up to the tune of 14-2. Espanyol, a resounding comeback as they go to 6-0 on the season, unless they add one more, as this will eventually touch down whenever the players are willing to let us bring our ugly mugs back on and sing the praises of an undefeated Espanyol. What a performance.
The mental fortitude of RCD Espanyol has been tested time and time and time again, and every single time they have stepped up to the plate and shown that they are the team, they are the kings of Europe currently here in the rival series.
They are indeed. There is no team that is at this level. Maybe BDS, and by the way, they play each other next week. That is going to be a very juicy matchup, as will BDS's matchup tomorrow on the B stream with RJM. There's a lot of high quality Rocket League to look forward to as we close out this weekend and look ahead to the final couple of weeks. But one thing remains constant up at the top of the standings. There is RCD Espanyol, and then there's everybody else below them as they continue to look up at the kings of the European rival series.
I don't even know what to add to that, to be completely honest with you. I'm just amazed at how well they played. That was as dominant a performance as we've seen out of any team in any matchup so far. And it really is a testament to how good RCD Espanyol is acting on the fly and having to change up how they're doing things. They play different styles to match whatever's on the field. And when you can do that and play all those different styles to that level, I'm not sure who's going to be able to stop them. This was kind of my ace in the hole, watching how hot Notorious Legion's been playing, how strong that offense has been. The defensive presence from Matane and Cash has been stellar, and it couldn't live up to it. It could not put a dent in them. It put a small dent at the start, but the second RCD Espanyol figured out how to get around Matane in that midfield and get the touches away from him, and Shamway getting control of the ball, the possession time for Shamway had to have been nearly a third of the game.
Well, for Tox, when he came alive, starting in Game 3 onwards, this math checks out, and it is staggering math. 7 goals in 15 minutes. Servette Geneva has scored 6 goals in 12 games that they have all lost. They will try to turn things around. It is a battle for survival as Servette takes on Vertex. Coming your way as we close out Europe. Coming up next.
Get it while it's hot.
Feel my arms holding on so tight just when you need it most. Feel the freedom of being careless, just being in love. Everything will be alright through the darkness, through the night. No fear anymore. No fear anymore. No fear anymore. Why the smile on your face? Don't fake it. You don't have to pretend. What a fear in your eyes will make it. Just take a chance. The thing that haunts you, leave it behind you. The ones that love you, let them guide you. Everything will be alright through the darkness, through the night. No fear anymore. No fear anymore.
Welcome back, folks. Reverse sweep. You know, I typed it out. I tried to figure out how to say sweep backwards, and it's just not good. But RCD Espanyol certainly were They take this one in 5 games above Notorious Legion Esport. F dot here, and over there we've got Stacks and Supersonic, of course, holding it down. This was a fantastic game. Real quick, before we look at game number 4, I want to reflect. Supersonic, you were high on Notorious Legion Esport, and for good reason. They played well, but what was their downturn here?
The mental fortitude iron wall that is the mental game on the side of RCD Espanyol, and I will never doubt it again. They are unstoppable. They are willing to change things up on the fly. They'll figure out what the problem is, and they will work that issue out. By the time they get to game 3, they will figure it out, and tides will start turning. I've no doubt that they finish number 1 overall for the season. I'm taking them. I don't care who you're throwing at them.
I got to agree. Stacks, I look to you whenever we drill deep into the nitty gritty of the game. And really what I saw here from the bird's eye was game number 1, Notorious Legion played their game. Game number 2, RCD Espanyol kind of sort of figured it out. Game number 3, they felt comfortable. Game number 4, they got it. And game number 5, well, it was RCD's game. Talk to me about how that worked out. Like, how did they execute that?
Well, once talks got going, it was a snowball downhill. There was no stopping him. And I think they, so often you see like a struggling free throw shooter just needs to see a ball go into the net, go down through the cylinder to get himself going. Yeah. That's what it was for Espanyol. They needed to see one get through into the net. And because they did so early, I think they kind of struck a little bit of fear into Notorious Legion, like, hey, we cannot let these guys get too much momentum. And they got in their own heads. As a result, Talks took over. Espanyol goes to 6-0.
Supersonic was right, though. Taz did step up in those games that NLE were looking good. So shouts to Taz. Right stuff. Just not enough of it. Hopefully next time we see a little bit more. Match number 4 coming our way. Team Vertex versus Servette Geneva Esport. These are the number 8 and number 9 teams. They are the lowest teams with a win here in the rival series. Zafir, Mirror, and Yagi versus Coca, Nagflow, and Dumaine. These guys are, everybody's struggling. That's really the nicest way I can say this one. Stacks, again, I turn to you for your veteran leadership here. What do we expect to see from these lower end teams? Obviously, they're not shooting for 1, 2, or 3, but what can you do as a bottom team to kind of claw your way up to the mid?
Well, for Servette, they're a team that, they've struggled. They're 10th in the league in scoring, shooting percentage, goals allowed. They are statistically the worst team in the league, except for the fact that they have a win, unlike the Baguette squad, and we saw how they looked earlier. But what they do have going for them is recently, because we've talked about the European Invitational a lot. They were in that, sure, and they did go 0-3, but they went the distance against 3 very, very talented teams. And they're all teams, they're punching way over their heads going up against them, and they're taking them to the limit. I think that they can take that if they're not too frustrated from those ultimate losses. If they can channel a little bit of that against Vertex here, they could get back on the winning track and at least try to save their spot for a future season.
We'll see if that's the case. Team Vertex has had some struggles along the way. Supersonic, talk to me, your prediction and why.
I am taking Team Vertex. Team Vertex in league play. Yes, Servette Geneva had something going for them in the European Invitational. They took those games to games 5s. But when you're going into the European Invitational and it's not league play format, the mindset is different going into that. You're not already, in that down and out position. League play is a bit different, and we're too many weeks in, and this differential of 4 and 16, I just don't know on the mental game. We just talked about mental game, all about mental game that whole last series, and I just don't know that the mental game on Servette Geneva is strong enough to weather the storm for another match. Team Vertex has had a bit more life in league play. They've had a few more match wins. I'm going to probably be leaning here towards Vertex. I expect them to piece some things together, but defense-wise, again, we've seen a lot of double commit issues, so I think this one can go either way.
Stacks, you kind of set the table, leaning in the direction of Servette Geneva Esport. Real quick, wrap up your thought and put a bow on it. Servette, right?
Yeah, I've got Servette here. I mean, I do like the recent results for both these teams. You know, Vertex, they gave Espanyol all they could ask for last week. Servette has given a lot of RLCS. You know, they gave 3 RLCS teams all they could hope for, and then some. I do think Servette takes it here. I think that they finally break out of this slump that they've been in rival series league play, and finally someone like Yagi comes alive and takes over this series for Servette.
I'm here with you guys. Now, I do lock down Vertex here as my pick, but looking this weekend at what happened with Servette Geneva Esports, I like what would happen on the outside, but these teams are real similar. When I look at them, I see 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other, and I got to go with Dumaine, the only keyboard and mouse player on the rival series pitch. You know, I'm going to be excited about that one. So I lean Vertex, not necessarily a real statistic reason, but sometimes you got to vote with your heart. Plus, I'm 3 for 3 so far, and if I get one wrong, it ain't no thing. So we're feeling good about this one today. I enjoy it. I'm excited. Vertex versus Servette Geneva Esports. It's all you.
Well, Supersonic, something's got to give for Servette, right? I mean, I mentioned it before the previous break. They scored 6 goals in their last 12 games. They've been outscored 38-6. How do they do, or even if they have a chance to, how do they turn things around against a Vertex team that is similarly starting to turn things around in the rival series?
You know, I'm not 100% certain how it's going to go. This is one of those matches where, like, I kept going back and forth. And I think that whoever gets the wind in their sail early, whoever can get that opening goal and get something going, I think is going to win. I think that mental fortitude has been an issue for both these teams. And if one of them lets the other one get a runaway in game 1, I think that that's going to spell disaster for them. So I'm going with whoever gets that opening goal, I think is going to have a good series.
Whoever scores first usually wins a lot of games, and Coca, hey, whoever scores first may win the series the way that the Servette has gone over the past few weeks. It is Coca who strikes first for Team Vertex.
Overcommit early out of Servette Geneva there. Just an open net. The cheat up. The other player came up still. Nobody ready on the defensive half. Easy throw in.
So 1-0 in about 15 seconds. Here is Nagflow to start yet another attack for Vertex. A team that we had high expectations for offensively. Thought coming into this season it was going to be a much different story from the previous. It has not been, but there is still time to turn it around and salvage what they can. Dumaine will pop one up, but Yagi is right there for it. Not a ball with a lot of purpose, though. Just kind of thrown towards the opposite end. A demo by Coca. The ball falls right to him. And there is Yagi to just sky one away. Mirror looking for Yagi. The pass had a little too much sauce on it. He could not catch up. And Nagflow will dump one out only as far as Zafair, who does have a teammate in Yagi coming on. Could not get the ball to him. And so Mirror has to come up. A very aggressive challenge at midfield. Zafair has Mirror running interference for him, but no defenders to take out. That seems to be the story for Servette. The ideas are there, the execution, not so much. Dumaine not able to follow up here, but Coca can to the corner. Nagflow with a backflip as Coca will stay with this. And now it'll be Yagi. He is going to lose possession very quickly, though. He wasn't under any duress at all. It has been a struggle for Servette in the last few weeks and in the past couple of minutes. Mirror whiffs on this. Nagflow has Coca flanking him. He'll turn off. Nagflow to the corner. Looking to center. Nobody home, though. And now both sides just seem to have a little case of the yips as they don't want to come up.
Yeah, both teams really just kind of trying to, well, as I said, that they're going to go for a pass there, but really there's been a lot of self-play. We talked about all the selfless play in the previous match and the passes that were going on to get around defenders. So far, it's been kind of big clears from Coca, trying to carry it down the field to set himself up for a flip reset. On the other side, we've been seeing kind of the same, or big booming clears. Nobody really taking true possession of the ball and trying to make something happen. And if it stays going this way, it's going to be a win for Vertex. They need to start getting something happening here. Zaffair going to get up, but Dumaine there to knock it away.
It'll be Yagi looking to go across the defense over to Zaffair, but that ball's gotten away from him. Again, good idea, poor execution as the ball gets away. Now Mirror for Zaffair, looking to flick one on. Instead, it's popped up for Yagi. Needs another touch, and he's run out of gas.
Zaffair has a lot of the right ideas. He's getting out there. He's getting the most touches so far this match, and he's kind of throwing them out, trying to get a pass out for a teammate. But their midfield, they're just kind of popped up. There's not any real intention with it. It feels like he's just kind of trying to create an opportunity rather than having a targeted area that he's trying to send the ball.
You know what this reminds me of? It's like me when I play ranked. Like, yeah, I have a great idea. Put the ball in the net. It just never seems to happen. I can't quite figure out why.
I feel like that's our entire team anytime we play ranked. It's, you know, we talk about a lot of things, and I think we have ideas more often than not. We just...
Yeah, Dazzler seems to talk more than anybody. There's Zaffair finally putting one in as Servette will get on the board. They're good for one every couple of games over the past few weeks. This is the one that ties up game one.
They tie it up. A little scary, though. That was a triple commit. All three of them in the air near the ball there off that pass. Not going to want to do that too often. I understand you need to get a goal and tie it up, but you open it up, you may end up paying the penalty if you allow too many opportunities like that.
Just looking back at their series, the last four series, which again have all been 0-3 sweeps, they have scored exactly one goal in game one, and of course then gone on to lose that game. Here is Yagi out of the corner. Over to Koka. Problem is they're not teammates. Now Nagflow chasing this down all the way downfield. It'll be Zaffair's got to get up in a hurry. He had Koka ranging in behind him. And now Yagi right there is Nagflow to intercept at midfield. As the defense of Vertex tries to turn it into offense. Koka, good first touch, but does not get a follow-up as that's swept away with 20 to go.
Yeah, it looked like Koka was trying to get a flip reset there, wasn't able to get it. Almost an opportunity, would have been pretty, but he was only able to get those front two wheels down and on that ball.
It'll be Nagflow right there at midfield with a good challenge along the side. Regulation has come and gone, and we go to overtime in game one. It has been heartbreaking so often in these early games for Servette, looking to change their fortunes. Something needs to go their way, and instead they have their hearts broken again. This time the perpetrator is Nagflow.
Nice pass there from Koka as he brings it off that side wall. Nagflow already up, pre-jumping that. They know it's coming. Placement on point. Vertex going to be the first one to strike. In the match, and the first one to strike here in the series as they take down game number one.
And it happens to Servette again. One goal in game one. They drop that game 2-1 to Vertex. It happens in overtime, and just add it to the list. Now 1-4 in extra time is Servette Geneva Esports. They don't get a single shot from Yagi, and they didn't get a whole lot from him, at least on the scoreboard, as they just struggled to get him involved in what they're trying to do against this very talented German squad.
On both sides, it really feels like they're just clearing the ball, and the stats basically tell the same story if we're looking at number of touches on the ball. So they're in that match going into overtime. Granted, overtime was all of like 10 seconds there. they have maybe half the number of touches that we've been seeing in the previous matches from these other teams. They're just clearing the ball back and forth. Nobody's willing to take possession of it. And I think whoever can get that type of play going and figure out the possession game, bring the ball down, create opportunities, will end up taking the series.
So they will line it up again for game 2 on Urban Central. Servette trying to tie up this series after a very quick overtime, a heartbreaking loss in OT, and just more emotional hits that just keep coming on. As you look at the last 2 series, they have scored between them just 2 goals. They score 1 goal in game 1. They get shut out games 2 and 3. They will need to score very early on, you would think, to
That's a
maybe
scary
help
stat.
avoid the doubt. Yeah, help avoid the doubt creeping in. Wonder if they even can compete at this level. They've shown they can, but in this league, it has been a challenge.
Momentary signs of life, though, this late in the season when you can't piece it together more than 1 or 2 times, it makes it really rough to try and play at this level. It starts bringing doubt and questions into your mind, and when you start doing that, you're not going to play at your best. And that's got to be where the mindset is currently for Servette Geneva after that heartbreaking loss.
Yagi's had some good passes. He has not been rewarded with assists, nor was he on his previous attempt. Now mirror wing coming on. That's going to be blocked by Nagflow and boomed downfield as Vertex go trying to track down Boost. Koka could not find any at midfield. He will get a pass off, but that's intercepted, and Nagflow has to take it to his own corner. Missing that ball entirely out of the corner was Nagflow. He will try to do better at midfield as he'll pop it further on past Zafir, who just seemed like he was stuck in mud, and as a result, they're going to get scored on. It's Dumaine posting in.
Koka, clean pass off the back, no one there to challenge the ball. Mir caught in a turn trying to get situated back in the net, not able to jump up to make a touch on that ball. May have wanted to not turn and just go ahead and try and challenge that off the wall. I don't think there was any chance at him getting turned around in time and getting up for that.
When you see someone going backwards away from their own net, just trying to pick up a boost pad, that's when the old red flag starts waving like, uh-oh, this is trouble. And it was for Servette. They dropped down a goal near the midway point of game 2. Now Dumaine. Challenged in the corner, can still stay with this play, so he makes another challenge. Yagi has gotten this one centered for Vertex. That's not where he wanted the ball. Zafir didn't get rid of it. Mirror will try, and Dumaine will cut it off at the center line. Now Yagi, again the ball goes from the corners to the center from Servette rather than the other way around, and it is not conducive to keeping other teams off the scoreboard. For the most part, they have over the past couple of weeks. They haven't been blown out in many of these games, but the damage has been done because they haven't been able to score themselves.
Yeah, you got to be able to put up the ball or put up a score on the other side, and they do. There we go. Zafir finally going to get one in there. So Servette going to tie this up. We're back in another 1-1 situation here. We'll see if they can start piecing this together. And I think the issue is what you are saying. They are taking that ball out of the corner. They're trying to do these weird plays where they bring it up and off the backboard or across their own goal line. And you don't want to bring it across your goal line. You want to take it across the opponent's goal line. They need to start trying to get more plays down the sidewalls.
Well, they will try here as Zafir will give chase, but he couldn't get to that ball in time. Mirror intercepts at midfield. Koka's got to dodge just a little bit of pressure, and he does so, but now Zafir coming on, and that's blocked by Koka again. The defense of Koka has actually been very fun to watch because he has been pressured physically by a lot of teams, and his concentration on the defensive end, it is not matched by many. That almost finds its way in as well, but it is saved right at the goal line by Mirror. Now, It is Mirror trying to get rid of this ball, and he can't, as Vertex look to reclaim the lead late in game 2. Dumain's shot, that's high and wide, and no follow-up.
That's another issue that does happen, and I think it's true for both these teams. When they are getting looks at the net on open nets, they're getting high shots, they're getting wide shots. They need to figure out how to get this shooting accuracy back up, especially when you're playing against, two teams that are playing against each other that have had those defensive mistakes. Those mistakes have been occurring. We've seen them happening. They're creating opportunities, but nobody's capitalizing on them.
Yagi pass over to Zaffair, looking for an assist. He does not get one. He'll have to be content with the one that he has on the goal in this game. So he'll try to score himself instead, and he does! What a shot!
That's one way to get it done. If you're not getting the team plays, and you're not getting the capitalizing moments on the defensive mistakes, get in there, be the hero, throw the team on the back, and get a play in. Yagi being that man here off that backboard, breathing a little bit of life here into Servette in the final 20 seconds.
If you want something done right, you got to do it yourself, and he does. Now with 15 seconds left, can they hang on? They cannot. No. What a pass and a blistering drive from Nagflo to quickly tie things up again.
If they can't get something going here, if Servette doesn't win this match, I think they're going to be in a tough spot in Game 3. I don't know that they can weather that storm in that mental game. Game 3 is going to be really rough if they don't take down this match.
And Coca plays hero yet again, picking up his 3rd assist of the series. 100% goal participation, as he's had a hand in everything on both sides of the field, and I do mean everything that Vertex has done. He has also got it done on the defensive end, keeping Servette at bay as we go to overtime for the 2nd game in a row. It was a short overtime in game 1. It will be slightly longer in game 2 as this is cleared away, but maybe not much longer. There's another drive far down and away, but there's Coca looking to break their hearts again, and this will go to the corner.
Another midfield pass, Nagflo.
Every time, it just seems like now that Servette do get the ball out to the corners, it feels like they're doing something right, and then there's another great infield pass coming from Vertex, leading to a high-power shot. Nagflo's got to stay all the way back this time. That challenge won by Mirror. Another touch very quickly out of the corner, but Dumain is right there. He'll opt for boost over ball, and his teammate did as well, so that's going to be trouble. It leaves Nagflo all alone in the net, but he's not challenged by a particularly difficult shot.
Vertex looks like a completely different team since the start of the OT. And where is that infield passing and the aggressiveness that we're seeing at the start of these OTs in the actual map? In the actual matches, if they could get that going, they'd have a much better record for the season.
Accidental second touch should create a scoring opportunity, and Zaffair pushed one wide. Oh, it's a can't-miss opportunity, and they found a way to miss it anyways.
And that's not the first time that we've seen that happen this match, actually. We've seen it happen a couple times in regulation play, and it's starting to plague them as it comes over into OT.
Koka, clever touch off the tires, but it's coming right back in. Yagi's up. That's going to be pushed wide. Mirror's waiting. And can he do this himself? He got the challenge, but there is Dumain to back things up. Zaffair, booming clear over towards Mirror. Does not get that ball centered like you would have wanted to. So now Yagi will try. This is right towards the net and sent away by Nagflo. Starting to see Yagi take more initiative out there, and maybe a little bit of trust waning away as he tries to take over and get his team back into this series. But eventually everybody else is going to get on the same page. Zaffair makes a stop. This is going to find its way out to Nagflo. And boy, that last touch by Zaffair before that one, a little ill-advised. This ball loose in front. Mirror has it go right to Coca. Coca against Zaffair. This time Zafair's up in time, but there's the rebound. Dumaine over to Nagflow. They try it again. That's going to be just high. Nagflow wins that ball after the demo by Dumaine, and yet again, it happens to Servette. They drop in OT after that demo.
The team confidence is definitely falling apart. I 100% agree with your assessment there, where Yagi felt like he was starting to try and force things to happen by himself. There was no cohesion there in that OT. There was some team play still coming out of Vertex, and they did give up opportunities to Servette to create some traction for themselves or get a goal in, where they were triple committing off of some of those infield passes. They had 2 times where they double committed off the pass in the mid, so they had one guy up in a corner, other 2 sitting really far up to take the shot, and Servette instead just kind of has a soft clear where they just kind of touch it up. Had they just been able to do a booming hit, just bomb that back down the field and then chase after it, they probably would have had a goal there. And then the times when they did get down there to make a play, Zaffair set one wide. A lot of missed opportunities for Servette, and it makes me wonder if they're going to be able to go into this game 3. Now, again, they were taking these RLCS teams to game 5, so maybe they can weather the storm and take this down to that match 5, but I think it's going to be a tough one.
It is going to be a tough one. Again, they do get up to 2 goals this time, but again, they drop in OT, and that losing streak extends. You hate to keep mentioning it, but 14 games in a row that they have dropped Splice-esque numbers from their RLCS run a couple of seasons ago, and it is not looking good for Servette Geneva. They have a game to try and turn things around, but the Germans will look for a sweep to close out our broadcast here today. Nagflow up against Zaffair. Kickoff goes right to Yagi. That's probably who Servette wants on the ball. He faked the flip reset, and the shot still sailed high.
Yeah, let Yagi be that guy that gets in there and tries to make plays happen or force things to happen. Be there defensively, create opportunities for him to do something. He's the guy that's kind of shooting hot and getting touches on the ball and trying to make things happen. Create opportunities for him.
Yagi could not get that midfield boost, so he tries to do a lot with not much to work with, and now it is Dumaine. 1-on-1, actually 2-on-1, 2-on-2, as Yagi came into support. Now Coca. Try to get over Yagi, he does. He's got Dumaine waiting, but that ball goes opposite side, so it'll be Zaffair. Needs another touch coming out of the side. Got around Dumaine. Now he's got a chance, but he's going to try to take it himself against the whole defense. No, off the back wall, and the follow-up saved away by Dumaine.
Yagi created an opportunity there. He's, again, trying to get things done. You see him go for a bump there on Dumaine. He's trying to get involved and open up these opportunities. I don't see the rhythm, though, out of the other 2 players on the team. He had a great chance to turn. I believe it was Mirror there. Had an opportunity to cut back on that ball, but unable to do so. I don't know if it's falling on the side of boost management. Maybe he had to get out to get some. I don't know what his boost level was. But they need to find a rhythm between the team. Yagi can't be the only one trying to force this home. They've got to get some team play.
It will be Zaffair playing on the defensive end. He'll bring this across, looking for Yagi, instead finding Coca. Now Dumaine. He's got Nagflow coming on. They've set up this play a million times, but it does not work out this time. Now Zaffair. Intercepted by Dumaine, but Yagi's right there, so it'll be Nagflow who gets back for the save. Mirror. Round 1, but no possession, so Vertex will try again if Nagflow and Dumaine can connect, which they do. And they add Coca to the equation, and he adds his 3rd goal of the series.
Nice little 1-2-3 there, up to Dumaine, out to the mid. Coca getting upside down, putting that one right there in that lower corner.
It is all Team Vertex right now as they lead by 2 games in the series. They lead by a goal in a clinching opportunity in Game 3. Coca right at Zaffair, and then Coca wins the challenge anyways, and this is going to roll in. And if that does not sum up the entire Servette season, I don't know what does.
That's the type of goal. That's the one where they just. I've been talking about wind in the sail. That's the one that just cuts holes in it. It's. Those are the type of goals that just hit you right in the heart and take your want to play right out of you.
If it weren't for bad luck, Servette would have no luck whatsoever. This is going to be Mirror getting a piece of that ball. Yagi is blocked. Jailbreak the other way. 3-on-2, and Zephyr comes to the rescue. Yagi will back away from this, and Zephyr will take over with 2 minutes left. They're not dead in the water yet, but they've got to feel like it. The way that this game has gone, the way that Coca has scored his 2 goals. Now Yagi, his drive is going to be saved away right at the end. Now Coca to clear, and another quick counterattack on tap for Vertex as they try to close things out in Game 3. And I say try, it hasn't taken much effort. Again, it just seems like everything is going their way as Dumaine gets back in time.
It does, yeah. Watching it, and we talk about eyeball testing this. Neither team looks like they're dominating the other one by any means. Very similar pacing, similar number of touches, opportunities. It just really is that luck factor. If we could somehow analyze and break that down into a number, the luck factor is just going the side of Vertex here throughout this series.
I mean, I can break it down to a number
Except
in a moment.
for that.
There's Nagflow adding yet another, and he has been camped out in midfield waiting for passes like this, and another one comes his way. He's got 3 goals in the series, and it is a well-rounded team effort. I mean, you look at everybody, 4 goals from Coca, 3 from Nagflow, 3 assists from Dumaine. He's added a goal. Zephyr will try to get on the board. He cannot, as Servette Geneva are now 54 seconds away from dropping down to, what does it be, a negative 15 streak. They would fall to 1-6 on the season. And in this particular match, Super, the way that it happened with those 2 overtimes and then the goals that Coca scored in the first half of this game, I mean, how do you dust yourself off and come back week after week when you have that happening to you?
I don't know that you do. I don't like being that level of negative, but I don't know that you do. Right now, Vertex is running a very one-dimensional offense. If we really look at the way that these goals came, yes, Coca had that one where he kind of got a nice secondary touch or a lucky secondary touch to take one down the field, but almost every goal has come from the exact same play. The ball comes from the corner or the sidewall into the midfield for a pass. Nagflow hangs out there, or Coca's hanging out there. That is the majority of the goals. And if you can't stop that, I don't know how you go up against other teams that we're watching throw everything they've got at the matches.
Yeah, for Team Vertex, it is a well-earned win. They did everything that you expect a team at this level to do. Get the ball to the center, get a hard shot on target, create trouble in front of the net, create confusion, take advantage of rebounds. They did everything right. And for Servette, I think Servette is the kind of team that really makes you appreciate the professionalism of Rocket League players, especially at this level. It would be so easy to mail it in at this point, and they have not. And we've seen teams reach this point in the season, especially on the North American side in seasons past, where they've just kind of reached this point and they're like, well, all right, we'll show up only because we have to. This Servette team, they show up, they battle, and then they have some of the things we saw in that series happen to them, and you just wonder, man, what do they got to do to get a break around here? They drop to 1-6. Meanwhile, Team Vertex starts climbing up the ladder. F. Yes, you were right. Again, go ahead, brag. I know your humbleness is your best quality.
Oh, absolutely. That is what I'm known for. Yeah. Anyway, back to reality. Listen, last time either of these teams won, it was week 2. They both won against Baguette squad that week. It's the only wins they found besides that versus each other, but this is the importance of the rival series. And let me get on my soapbox real quick, because, when you're in the RLCS and you find yourself kind of mathematically out of it, listen, I'm really not going to complain too hard if you kind of do do the mail it in. But if you're in the rival series, you're here to learn. You're here to improve. You're here to get better. And anybody that's ever played competitive anything from Rocket League to I don't know what, scrims only mean so much. When you get out there on the big stage, that's something that you can't really make up anywhere else. So you got to stick to it. We see that work out for Vertex, not so much for Servette Geneva Esports. Unfortunately, they continue to tumble. Still number 9, though, in the standings. Beneath them is still the Baguette squad. So not quite all the way on the bottom just yet. These teams have kind of struggled here, but we've had some fun all day. We saw some of the bottom and we saw some of the top. Match number 3 was RCD Espanyol. That was a lot of fun watching that one go by. You guys weren't here for me on the call for games 1 and 2, though. Either of those stick out to you guys? Super. You go?
Which order did those go in? For some reason, my brain's shutting off on me. Who had game 1? Because I want to start say game 1. My brain is
RJM and Triple Trouble with Eustace going off, scoring 6 goals for the first time, which was crazy.
Yes, RJM's performance is definitely the one that stood out. That was the game. I couldn't remember if it was game 1 or game 2, but Justice coming out, setting basically a record that had never been done before. So getting the double hat trick, is fast as some of those matches were earlier. Mm-hmm. They were so much fun just because there was so much action going on the pitch. So it's still a ton of fun. Even if a game's a blowout, you get to see players styling and doing things that you don't normally see them doing when they start getting loose and they feel good, which is still just a ton of fun to watch.
It was a ton of fun if you're a fan of RJM, and it was fun to watch them work it out in the standings. As I said, we've had a couple of moves here up on top. RCD Espanyol still stays now 6-0. And after that performance, frankly, boys, I don't think that's changing anytime soon, at least the loss column. After Triple Trouble's performance, they fall down to RJM, and they fall down to number 7. And then, like I said, Vertex has shifted from that tie. They are now 2-4 versus Servette Geneva's 1-6. Baguette squad still the opposite of RCD Espanyol, unfortunately. So a rough look there for some of our teams. Baguette squad, they've got to turn it around. Stacks, you were very vocal in the back room. Well, the back room when we were watching those matches. What is it? How do they fix it? How do they find a win before the end of the season?
I mean, we've seen teams reach this point of the season where things aren't working out, and maybe the option is you go to a sub, and for some teams that's a challenge. Not every team has a sub that they rely on. We've seen teams pay the price for that in the past, but they do have one. You wonder if eventually Ben might get that call. I don't know what you do at that point. I mean, you got to do something to save your season. When you look at it, though, there is a logjam of teams stuck in the middle there. Like, okay, if you're where Baguette squad's at 0-6, like 3-6 is probably not going to get you there, considering the 6th place teams already have 3 wins. But at least if you can salvage something going forward, there is still prize money to play for. And if I'm a sub on one of these teams that's down at the bottom, and then I'm looking at prize money, I'm going, yeah, get me in here. Give me a piece of the pie if I can help you climb up the standings a little bit. If you got nothing to lose, why not?
I feel that. If you got nothing to lose, it means you've got everything to gain. That's the end of our games here for Europe, though. North America on the docket. Let's take a look at what's going to be going on there as far as the game's concerned for the NA broadcast. Charlotte Phoenix starts us off versus Omni Nation, the number 2 team in the league. Looking very, very good there. Warriors International and 72 Pin Connector will go head-to-head, trying to continue their upward swing at 72. Monkey Business takes on the struggling RBG, and then Absolute Leverage comes to Mirage, who has been on a tear. So an interesting look there when we look at number 4 for the day. You're going to want to tune in and make sure to hit all of those. Super and Stacks, you guys going to be there, right, Super?
I mean, I'll be there for 2 of them for sure, and I'll be in the chat for the other ones.
That's the fun here. I mean, Stacks, you're getting ready for NA. What do you give us your game to look out for?
I think the first one, I think, is the I think that's the best match of the day in North America. I really want to see this Omni Nation team play. They're a fun team to watch. But Charlotte Phoenix, they have all the tools to be at the top of the league, and still they sit near the middle of the pack. This is a chance to drag Omni Nation down to them just a little closer and climb their way up towards the top.
It's a big deal. You're not going to want to miss it. Europe was exciting, and NA is going to be just as exciting. Thank you for spending time with us here in my home, Super's home, Stacks' home, Subi's home, and Spaceman's. Stay tuned. NA on the docket. About 2 hours. We'll be back then, and we'll see you.